Okay, folks, this week we had the pleasure, the honor of sitting down with Troy Eckert, who is a juggernaut in the action sports space. He was employee number 1 over at Volcom, and he is a huge part of the success of that brand. He edited the iconic film The Garden, which he hand-spliced all the clips together. He worked his way up to head of marketing in the heyday of Volcom, where he shares some great stories and great insights on how that brand became so successful. He went on to start a life coaching business called Radical Voyage, where he works with high-level athletes in action sports, and he's basically a personal Mr. Miyagi, helping them navigate their way of the world. He's a wise shaman of a human. He's also in his 50s, and he still surfs bombs. We're talking getting shacked, getting barreled on massive waves. I find that inspirational. Anyway, I will stop talking because this is a great show. But before we get into it, I got to say thank you so much to the sponsors that came on board to support the show to make this happen. Woodward, Bubs Naturals, Yeti, Arbor, Nidecker, and Saxx. Thank you guys so much, and thanks to our Patreon members. Silk, let's get into the show. Here we go.
You are listening to the
Hey, MFM. See you on the lift. Back attack, dude.
Bon Voyage!
Get that damn car off of the hill.
Slide down them big hills. You know what I mean? On the big, nice burgundy snowboard.
Okay, welcome to the Bomb Hole, which is presented by Run Through Wall Smelling Salts. Today, co-hosting, we got Baby Huey, Seth Hewitt in the chair. What's happening, Seth?
Not a lot, just kind of tripping and absolutely honored to be a part of this one.
Seth, we're happy you're here as well. It's always a pleasure. And we got the producer extraordinaire, Silk D, back in the booth.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah, hat's looking good. Beanie's looking good.
Thank you. Yeah, Bomb Hole Special. Happy to be here.
Love it. And today, the man of the hour that we're going to be interviewing for the next several hours in the hot seat, Troy Eckert. What's happening, Troy?
What's up, you guys? Thanks for having me. Stoked to be here.
Troy, how's your experience been in Utah so far since you've been here?
It's been good. It's been a while since I've been here, to be honest. But yeah, I'm digging it.
It's good to have you here.
Thank you. Yeah, it feels right.
When's the last time you were here?
So many years ago. I don't even remember, to be honest. It's been many, many years. Maybe visiting my cousins. And yeah, they live here in Utah, so I have some family here. It's been a while, though. Cool.
Well, I love it. We got a lot of topics to cover, and a major one in your journey is with Volcom. And, we spoke with Wooly, and you were employee hire number 1 at Volcom. And I want to hear about that first experience of kind of interviewing with Wooly for this position at this tiny company and where you were.
Bring it back. Yeah, that was a pretty wild time in my life because I just graduated from high school, and prior to that was surfing for Quicksilver. And Wooly was the promotions manager at the time, and then there was a surf manager below him. And so I was just a Grom surfing 54th Street in Newport Beach, which was Echo Beach back in the day. Quicksilver came up with that term. And yeah, one day Wooly just approached me and just was like, "Hey, I'm starting this company." And I don't remember if I'd found out he had quit or not, but he had just recently quit Quicksilver. And then he went on this like snowboard escapade journey up to Tahoe, and then him and Tucker Hall, that's where they came up with the idea of Volcom. And then about 6 months later, right after I graduated high school, that's when he approached me and was just like, "Hey, I'm starting this company, and I'd really love for you to be a part of it. I have no idea what it's going to be, but it could be something someday." And, I'm this 18-year-old kid sitting here with this decision to make, which at the time was very pivotal in my life. I had no idea that it was going to change the course of my life in that moment. And I was getting paid like $200 a month from Quicksilver. And it was kind of like there was this trajectory to potentially become a professional surfer, because I was doing contests and I was on this national team and back then, and having some success, but still I was kind of like, I wasn't really fully called towards that direction at that point. And the timing was just perfect. And I just was like, I loved Wooly. I loved what he was all about. He was 26 at the time. I was 18. And I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, what do I got to lose? Like, let's do this. And so I don't remember if there was a conversation before the time then I went to his house where that was where he started. It was in this house in Newport Shores in Newport Beach, California. And it was just a desk and it was a door. He had actually, I don't know, I got it from like probably Home Depot or something. And the door was his desk. Until the day he left the company, he still had that door as his desk, which is freaking awesome. But yeah, I just remember being in there and he's just like, I just want you to pass out these stickers and put the stickers on signs. And that's all it was then. It was just stickers. There might've been a t-shirt and then that was the beginning of it. That was the real just like beginning of my time with Volcom.
In Wooly's bedroom and the warehouse is basically his closet.
There was no warehouse. There was no warehouse. Like it was a pile of stickers on the door on his desk in his house.
That's like, what the company was.
That was the company.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I want to just talk about the sticker thing too, because it's such a wild thing with Volcom how you could never buy the stickers, and I would love to hear the logic behind that.
Yeah, we just we felt that the stone was like this sacred artifact essentially, and it was only for the team riders, and then also just the other stickers too. We were just like, you know what, this is a big part of the brand, all these logos and stickers and just different things. And we don't want to sell them. Like we just want to give them away. And that was the whole thing is like, let's give as many stickers away as possible, but not sell them. So it became this thing where you had to be close to the brand in a way through events or different things to where they could actually get the stickers. And then when people bought clothing and we shipped, we'd put stickers in the packages and whatnot. So yeah, that was an early decision early on of just like, we're just not going to sell them. And I don't know if we ever did. Seth, you would know this. Did we ever?
No.
Yeah. So never ended up selling any stickers.
No.
Which
There was like a send in a self-addressed stamped envelope campaign, and you'd get like some stickers thrown in there and sent out. So yeah, and then the big stones, team only forever. So, amazing.
Silk, we got a Patreon question with a stone, don't we?
Yes, I believe we do. This is from Xander307. Thank you, Xander, for your question. Thank you all our Patreon members for your questions. What is the origin story of the Volcom stone?
That's a great question, and it's one I get a lot. So Richard Woolley was really good friends with an art director. His name was Tom McElroy, and he was the one that came up with the stone. And so the stone, he designed it. It's an upside down diamond cut in half, and it's smushed. Basically, it's kind of like pressed down. So I mean, it's as simple as that. He came up with it, and I wasn't a part of that creation, but I know the story well, and I was very close to the story, and so. But that's how the stone was created.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I'd love to talk about, with Volcom, how it was so youth driven. You're 18, you're over there, and obviously the slogan "Youth Against Establishment" being a big fabric to the roots of Volcom, and I would just love to hear you elaborate on what that means to you and why you guys came up with that.
Yeah, well, Wooly had that before I got on, and I don't know if Tucker and him came up with it, but it just, at that time for me, it just like completely spoke to me. I was just, I don't know, I was just in this like kind of just rogue punk stage, just kind of didn't know really who I was and just looking for an alternative path in life. And when he shared that with me, I was like, this is exactly what I'm feeling in my life. I'm just like, kind of like fuck everything, teenager angst, and just like, let's go, let's create something all together. And yeah, during that time, it was 1991. It was a full recession, and on paper, to most people, it'd be the most horrible time to start a brand, but it ended up being the best time. And in my perspective, that is always the best time to start a company, is when everyone's freaking out and not doing anything, it's like that's when you can get in. And that's exactly what we did with Volcom. And then being surf, skate, snow, which did not exist. So, I mean, we pioneered that. And of course, that's coming from Wooly and Tucker. And yeah, it was just a huge thing for me. And I just identified with it, as I think a lot of people did also at that time, because everything was very contrived. And that's when like Nirvana was like huge, and like Pearl Jam, it was the grunge time. So there was a lot of that kind of energy and angst going on too. Kids were just like fired up.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing to talk about too. It's because with Volcom, you got music, you got skate, you got snow, you got surf. There's even kind of an art element to it. It's like this full counterculture thing. But generally, a lot of brands in action sports are just snowboards or just skateboards, or but being at a high level in all three, and you're running the essential marketing, kind of overseeing that. I know we're fast forwarding a little bit, but maybe you could tee up on some of the challenges of trying to be elite in 3 categories.
Yeah, it was pretty challenging because I remember at that time, like skateboarding was not into surfing. Like it was very separate, which obviously now that's totally different. Like there's so much crossover happening on all sports. But that one was the one where I was like, okay, this is going to be interesting to see if we can actually treat like each of these sports as their own sort of identity under the Stone umbrella, essentially. And the way we did that was to get like the best athletes. And I mean, our first real skateboarder was Chet Thomas. And at the time, like he was kind of like the skate god, and so technical and going backwards and switch and all this stuff. And so he was kind of our inroad of like, where I think skateboarders were able to look at this and go like, wow, that guy's a part of this and they have surfing too. Okay, maybe this isn't like so bad, or it doesn't mess with skateboarding as much. And it's funny because, yeah, looking back, I remember that was a challenge. And then the next one, skateboarder that we got was Jeff Rowley. And that's really when everybody, like a lot of the skate community, looked at it and went, oh, this is a skateboard community or skateboard company as well. And then same with snowboarding. It's like Terrier and Jamie and Gooch and all these guys. So it was all about, to do it legitimately, we had to have the best athletes. And then on the surf side, Gavin, Bruce, and a lot of these guys were just kind of riding for us for like nothing really in the beginning. And because it was such a kind of new movement and fresh and new and just stirring up the pot in the action sports. Well, there was no action sports, but in kind of that world that would become action sports. So, yeah.
Incredible. I'd love to just jump right into a great topic, the garden, okay? Because you and Wooly filmed and edited the whole thing. You're the main editor, or you guys both did together alongside. I mean, I'm just going to say it right now. I mean, in the intro to the 100% handmade hand that is in the intro to the garden is Troy's hand. That's pretty legendary. But yeah, walk us through going into making the garden and why you chose to do it and the ethos behind it and all that stuff.
Yeah, the garden was a special one for sure. It was our first snowboard film. We had done a surfing film prior to that. So this was the snowboard. This is our chance to sort of like stamp ourselves in the snowboard world, and not knowing what it ended up being is wild. Like seeing how it has impacted the snowboard community and still continues to, which is really cool. But yeah, ultimately, I mean, that was pretty much Wooly's idea, and Wooly came from film background with Quicksilver and stuff too. So he had that experience already, and then he basically just took me under his wing and just said, like, you want to do this together? And I'm like, heck yeah, let's go for it. And what was wild though is, all right, I take that back. A Lively Ride was, I believe, before the garden, and then maybe Stony Baloney. I might have those backwards, but the reason why I'm sharing that is because we ended up shooting the garden in all Super 8 film. And so when we did a Lively Ride, that's when we got introduced to Super 8 film as well, and it was through Dave Sione. And I remember getting this tape prior to just editing a Lively Ride, and we put it in, me and Wooly, and we saw the Super 8, and we were both just like, oh my God, like video is out. There's no place for video in any of our films right now moving forward. And this is right when video was like really catching on. Like it was really starting, and it was so much cheaper. And I mean, we all know how cost efficient video is.
About mini DV tapes at the time, right? Like,
Yeah,
yep,
totally.
camcorders.
High 8.
Yeah, high 8.
Yeah.
Okay, yep.
High 8, exactly. And it had a cool look, and it's funny now because I feel like a lot of people are using that look now currently is to make it just look kind of retro with the video. But yeah, ultimately that point on we're doing Super 8. So we're like, okay, so how do we do it? And what are the cameras? And then I don't know how this happened, but Wooly, I think, connected with this cinematographer called Greg Weaver, who's an old school, very old school, like 70s. He made these incredible skateboarding movies and surfing movies, and he worked with this guy Spider Wills, so it was Greg Weaver and Spider Wills. He ended up living in Costa Mesa, which was like a quarter of a mile, maybe half a mile from Volcom. And so we got connected with him, ended up at his house, and all of a sudden he's just got this arsenal of Super 8 equipment, like everything that you need to make a film, and it's all the original cameras that he used shooting all these movies. So we were just instantly just thrown into this incredible opportunity, and he was in this place in his life where he was just selling, like offing everything for like pennies on the dollar, basically. So we just got all this equipment, and then we just started shooting. And I remember, this is the one thing that I remember the most about the garden. Well, there's a few things, but in the very beginning, we ended up going to Europe, to Lausanne, Switzerland, to shoot Terrier. And it was like a big deal. It was me and Wooly. And I had this camera, it was called a Nalcom, and then Wooly had the Bull U's, which is more of the traditional Super 8 film cameras. And I mean, we had, cartridges, like I probably had like 40 cartridges each. And for people that don't know, a cartridge is 3 minutes of footage. And basically one cartridge, like when you buy the cartridge and process it and transfer it, it ends up being $100 a roll for 3 minutes. So not cheap. And so basically I went there and shot all the film and was like stoked, but the margin for error with Super 8 is like nothing you've ever, it's just like one stop or half a stop, maybe either overexposed or underexposed. Get back, process all the film, all my stuff's black. Everything I shot was black. There was like one shot that I think we were able to use in the garden that was just light enough to be able to see what was going on. And that was my entrance into Super 8 filming. And I was devastated because we just had this epic European session. It was just like Terry going off in the pipe. He like won the contest. It was like this whole deal. We had 2 angles all set up and all my shit was black. So yeah, I was pretty devastated, but I learned quickly. And then from then on, I, shooting test rolls and getting stuff back and getting the camera dialed. I'm like, okay, now I got it. And then from there we went for it.
I've heard that story before from Wooly. And then you guys went to like Arbor and everything else, like Steuben and stuff like that on that trip, and it was an epic trip. And yeah, he told me, he's like, we got back and half of all the footage was just black. Yeah. So that's what happens, that, and how much magic was in that footage. That's what I think about. Well, no, I just have to say though that movie, Troy, like that set the groundwork, like us coming after and all the generations, that was just such an inspiration for so many years to this day. Like every film I ever made for Volcom was always inspired by the garden, everything.
Troy asked me last night on the couch, he goes, why do you think the garden is so like inspirational? And I'm going to forward that question to you, Seth.
Honestly, the cast of characters, you had Terry, you had Jamie, you had Gooch, like so many incredible, the teenager section, you had all the Groms coming up. I remember I used to just look at the teenager section alone. You got Pennywise, Tomorrow, the song that just burns in my head. And it was so inspiring. That section alone, it was, me personally, I wanted to be in that crew, right? But the garden was such a different take than anything that was out. You were getting, Fall Line, Standard, Mac Dog. You saw all those people in those films, but the garden was an entirely different look and feel that was completely organic, completely almost artistic and spiritual, I would say. And it was unbelievable. You know what I mean? Because I was on the couch watching all the videos, but you get to the garden in the rotation, you're just like, all right, let's go. You know what I mean?
Soundtrack too.
Soundtrack, just, you know, the vibe and what it represented. It'll never be like duplicated, you know, ever again. And you know, we tried many times. No, as like we really like, I don't know, you know, whenever, you know, my time at Volcom, that was the guiding light. That was the holy grail. That was, you know, every trip, you know, whenever we got the crew together, it was always the garden vibes. Me and Gooch always talk about it to this day. It's like garden vibes, you know, he loves it. So thank you, Troy and Willie, for that creation. That'll goes down forever.
Awesome.
I would love to hear you talk about, you know, the hand, you know, the 100% handmade, your hand, but then going into the handcrafted titles and all the stuff that came along with the visuals to support the snowboarding.
Yeah. Oh, that was a wild one. Yeah, Wooly and Mike Perillo worked really hard to create sort of the artwork that you see on the cover and the posters, and that's all Perillo's art. And then they created this whole paper mache like structure of Sonora Pass, and it was insane. And I don't remember if that inspired it of like the actual I mean, it was the Super 8 film that really inspired the handmade, but I mean, they took it to the whole nother level. And just the process I was sharing with you last night about the whole process of like cutting the film and spicing everything together. Yeah, like me and Wooly both touched every single shot, like actually touched it with our hands. Because, you know, you go, so basically what happens is you get back your cartridge, your 3 minutes, and you have a big lot of film, maybe it's 40, 50 rolls, and then you process it all, and then it goes onto these bigger reels all together. Well, first it comes back processed, then we splice them together and put it on the bigger reels, and then we go through a viewer, so it's just like kind of this reel-to-reel janky old school deal. And I'm watching the footage just with my hand, like going through, and then I'll be like, okay, that looks like a shot to keep. So then pull it through, cut it with scissors, pull it out, and I'm still watching the footage of the shot. It's coming out. Okay, now it's done. Okay, now clip the other end. So now I'm holding the shot. And then we have cardboard boxes that are all labeled and numbered. And so then I take a piece of masking tape and I just masking tape it into the cardboard box. So all these shots are basically in this cardboard box in all around. And there's like maybe 100 per cardboard box. And so that's our A clips. And then like when we're done with all of that, and this would happen after every shoot because, you know, all the film would come in and we'd process it and then get these A reels completed like quickly because it's such a different, I mean, you're holding this stuff. And you want to like process it immediately because who knows, condensation or what, like anything could happen. You get like, you know, shoot it black, of course. And so ultimately it was just such an incredible process. And then after we get all these A clips in this cardboard box, then like Wooly would like feed them to me. Basically, it was like, okay, here's the first one. And so I'd put it through into a splicer, and then the next one, like basically put cement, little like it's like rubber cement into this splicer, and then the next one shot would come in, and then you rubber cement the other hand, and then you like flip it over, and then it glues it together, and then I'm reeling it into an A reel. So then all of a sudden we have these A reels, and then once we'd have enough, then we would transfer all that footage. And then we would transfer it onto a big old beta tape, which were huge back in the day. And those were that was like the actual masters. And then from the beta, there'd be a VHS working tape. And that was what we edited on, was these VHS tapes. And they were all time coded and all that. So it was a major process. Like, I mean, this is like a year-long process. Like however long we shot the garden, it was a season or so. I think it was like 1, maybe 2 seasons, but yeah, it was, But back then it was just like, I didn't know any better. I was like, oh, this is how you do it. Like I had no idea how crazy that was at the time, but it was such a powerful experience for us. I mean, me and Wooly bonded so much for sure in the garden, because we spent so much time together and just doing all that. It was a wild time.
I have a question about being up at Sonora filming the garden. When you were camping and you're hiding out in the woods and you're shooting these, Turrier and Gooch, and they're doing these unbelievable tricks, monumental tricks at the time, and you guys are just up there in the middle of nowhere in the spring. Did you have some sort of feeling that what you were doing was special at the time?
Yeah, it felt very special. It was very special, but it was more about in the moment special. It wasn't like what was happening after. It was just like, this is incredible what we're doing right now. And for me, that was the specialness. And then, of course, after then bringing it all together, it was like, wow, this is actually very special because we're able to share this with other people. So, but yeah, I knew it was special for sure. I mean, I probably went up there 3 or 4 times maybe for different like trips, and we would just like camp out and just shuttle guys in and out basically. And I remember scouting the garden one time with Gooch. It was just me and Gooch and then one of his buddies or something. And it was one of many. I mean, there was other scouting missions too with all the boys, but like I just remember being with Gooch and we're camping out and stuff and just looking at each other going, this is freaking insane. We're just up here by ourselves and like look at this zone that we can just go and play, like be with and play with. This is amazing.
Was that was that like the last filming mission of the video?
I don't remember, to be honest. It's kind of a blur. I don't really remember. It might have
Granson's springtime usually, right?
Yeah, maybe. Okay. It might have been throughout, and there was maybe 1 or 2 things after that kind of like sealed it up. But that was the foundation for sure. The Sonora, I mean, that was what created just the team camaraderie was insane. I mean, because we were camping together and then shooting, and it was just insane. No snowmobiles, just hiking everywhere. It's just wild.
How did you guys name that zone, the garden? Like what brought you the inspiration for that?
Gosh, I don't know. I want to say Perilla maybe named it, but Wooly would know that. Maybe Wooly named it. It was one of the boys that it was probably just like by the campfire, man, this place is the garden or something, just for snowboarding. It's just insane. So I'm making that up, but it could have been something like that. And so maybe Perillo. I feel like Perillo might have named it.
Awesome.
Okay, Silk, we got another good Patreon questions today. Maybe hit the Delana Basanisi question.
Yeah, that's how I'd pronounce it too.
Sorry.
Thanks for your question.
Sorry for the butchering of the name.
What was the turning point where you felt Volcom really arrived as a brand?
There was a lot of different turning points, but I think the one initial turning point where I was like, wow, we're creating something really cool was at the premiere of A Library Ride. And that was early. That was our first film that we made. And we actually, Wooly and I edited A Library Ride at Fall Line Films with Jerry and Artie. And it's a really funny story. I'll share it since this makes sense with the question. But we were editing up there for however long, a week or something like that. And then something went like horribly wrong with like the music sync with the shots. It was like really bad. And we had a premiere scheduled for like that night. Like we were supposed to be on a flight in the morning or something. It was either the day before or in the morning of the premiere in Costa Mesa. And we literally, we were running onto our flight to get on the plane in the afternoon. We got into John Wayne and we're holding the tape to put into like whatever the projector was at that time. I don't remember. Me and Willie ran on the plane, barely made the flight, got on the flight. Someone picked us up at John Wayne Airport and we hightailed it to the premiere. We show up and it's fucking packed. There's like 500 plus people in this little parking lot, and we just show up and we just put it in and press play. And it was crazy. And it worked perfectly. Everything was just like so seamless, but it was such a disaster at the time. I remember me and Wooly just looking at each other, we were just like, I cannot believe this is happening right now. We're going to miss our premiere. Like, we're going to straight up miss this. And we didn't. And so, but for me to answer the question is to me, that was one of the biggest ones. When I showed up at that parking lot and I saw like all these kids just frothing, and we put the movie in, and just people just like screaming and yelling and just like just having the best time. For me, I was like, wow, we've kind of arrived. And that was 1994. It was a long time ago. It was like 30 years ago. Yeah.
What a wild ride that you guys ended up going on. And I was watching you sit there, kind of scratch your head. It sounded like you had multiple turning points. Are there any other ones that you were kind of thinking about that come to mind?
I mean, it's funny because I'm sitting here going back to like movie premieres. And so I would say, Magnaplasm, which is a surf film that we made in 97, which we rented out a massive just theater in Costa Mesa, and again, filled to the brim. It was really, these movies were turning points for me, because it was the only time that I got to see all of the people that were into Volcom in like one room at one time. And I'm like, here's 1,000 people. And it's just, because there's no internet, like there was nothing going on. There was no social media. There was none of that. That didn't even start till like 2010. So, I mean, we were still like writing in Ledger without computers at that time. Like there was no computers at the company at all. So those to me were always the biggest moments. And I remember Subject Hawkinson too. It was a huge one. Did you go to that one?
I wasn't a subject. No.
Yeah, that was a huge one in Costa Mesa as well. And then the other real big turning point in regards to the premieres was, that was Subject Hawkinson. The one in 1999, it was October 1st, 1999 is when we moved into the old Quicksilver building, which in and of itself was a turning point. Like getting into this building, I'm just like, are you, like, really? We're going to get into this huge building? And we had the premiere there, and there was probably like 10,000 people, and it was psycho. It was just like incredible. So those are sort of the things that kind of are stamped in my mind as just like big moments in Volcom's history, but ultimately there are others as well.
I got a question real quick. So you just mentioned like part of that turning point is seeing all those people at the premieres, especially early premieres, and you couldn't see any of those people because there was no social media. Do you think the lack of social media was beneficial, at least to like your mindset at that time?
For sure. Absolutely. I mean, there was no distractions. It was like, we just do what you want to do and do what feels right, for sure.
Do you feel like it helped the brand grow in a different way, I guess, compared to like how nowadays everything is so reliant on social media?
I mean, hard to say in hindsight. It's just those were the times, and when it wasn't available, everything was in print. And so it served its purpose for that time, for our company, for the company.
We got a question from Ryan Emigart about similar to this subject. Here we go.
Hey, what's happening, Troy? Bombhole crew. This is Ryan with a question for Troy. First off, just wanted to sincerely express my deepest gratitude, appreciation for Troy and his support and belief in me in the early years. His decision to promote me was truly life-changing, and I never take that for granted. So thank you so much, Troy. It truly means the world. And now for the question. When I look back now, I think about Troy. You have such a great career. You've seen the industry evolve through all these major cultural and technological shifts. And from your perspective now, what do you think the brands today are often getting wrong? What do you think they should be focusing on more of to connect with today's audience? And how do you think about AI in today's modern marketing landscape? How do you think that's going to impact the industry and the culture moving forward? And how do you think the authentic brand voice can survive or even thrive in this next era of marketing? Word up, brother. Much love.
Heater.
That is a deep question.
Hard hitting. That's hard hitting.
Heater.
Hell yeah, Ryan. I would expect nothing less from you. That was awesome. Where do I start? What are they getting wrong? Ugh. That's an interesting question to unpack. I don't know if wrong is the word. Maybe they're just not paying attention to why they're doing it in the first place. Like losing themselves in the process of chasing, whether it's revenue or success or whatever it is. And I feel like for us, it was always like the mantra was always just like, okay, back to the basics, like back to the foundation. Like why are we doing this? Why did we start this company? What's important? What's the message that we want to actually share with the world? And I feel like companies nowadays I feel like with social media, from my perspective, they really do get caught in of other people's opinions too. And they don't really like forge their process with their brands that they're creating. And for me and my team at Volcom, for me specifically, I'll say it because it's my experience, the feeling, it was always, how does it feel? How does this feel? And if we could answer the question of like, this feels right, then we would do it and it wouldn't matter what it is. And there was always integrity and intention behind it too, but it came down to like, how does this feel? And I feel like if companies can just get back to that feeling of this, like, how does it feel for you, not other people? It's important to get feedback. And I mean, we just live in that world now. It's like everything's vetted and customer reviews and all that type of stuff, which can be super valuable, but don't get lost in the sauce. That's my opinion. Not running companies at that level with all this new added technology. So I'm a little bit ignorant when it comes to that too, because I haven't ran a company in this environment. But at the same time, if I really strip it back, that's what I believe could be helpful. Yeah.
All right, let me tell you what I'm excited about, people. These Bubs Naturals Hydrate or Die hydration packs. We are hammering these things at the office all day long. I'm drinking these on the daily, staying hydrated, whether I'm just at work or I'm out getting after it on my snowboard. And one thing people should know is that 75% of Americans are dehydrated. You're talking about losing strength, focus, endurance. You can have some brain fog. So let's hear the science. Your body needs electrolytes. We're talking sodium, potassium, magnesium to actually pull water into your cells. That's where Bubs Hydrate or Die comes in. It's based on oral rehydration solution science, a blend of sodium and glucose that pushes hydration directly into your bloodstream fast. We're talking 2 to 3 times faster than water alone. That's not hype, that's actual data. So whether you're flying, you're climbing, you're drinking, you're working, or you're just up at altitude, you're losing more than you think when it comes to water. Hydrate or Die brings it back. We're talking 2,000 milligrams of electrolytes per pack, cane sugar only, no sketchy sweeteners, and it's NSF certified for sport. It's clean, tested, and made in the USA. And let me tell you something, this new formulation tastes really, really good. So hydration's not optional. It's the cheat code to keep going. Hydrate smart, hydrate clean, hydrate or die. Head on over to bubsnaturals.com, grab a box. Your muscles, your brain, and your send will thank you. It's Bombhole approved. Let's do this.
All right, we're going to take a quick break with a message from our good friends over at Woodward Tahoe. That's Boreal Mountain for you. And if you don't know, snowboarding was pioneered on Donner Summit just around the corner. And if you want to keep the tradition alive, we recommend you get some laps in over at Woodward Tahoe. They got the best park in all of Tahoe. There's no denying it. If you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. Well-groomed, creative parks. You can't get enough of it. And get this, they got night riding. The only night riding in Tahoe. Their chairs are spinning with full lights, great visibility until 8 p.m., 7 days a week. If you want to get your reps up, just like the pioneers did, head on over to Woodward Tahoe.
Wow, Troy. Beautifully answered. Follow-up question. He did mention something about AI. Any takes?
I mean, in my perspective, obviously no one really knows how AI will affect all this life, especially businesses. But what I do feel deep down is it's only going to put a spotlight on humanization and togetherness and getting people face to face even more. Maybe not so much right now because everybody's trying to figure out how AI works in their life and how it's going to eliminate so many things and then also create new things. But ultimately, I feel like it's going to bring people together even more.
God, wise shaman you are, Troy. Well, talking about bringing people together, I want to go back to, in snowboarding, we had the PBR rail jams that were, the foundation at which I feel like Volcom was built on in the snow side of things. And I would love to hear about how the inception of these grassroots events helped build Volcom into what it became.
Yeah, those were so important. Let the Kids Ride Free is what it was called, like the series. And excuse me. So how it started was, this is early on for me. I was probably around like 19 or 20, and prior to us starting the surf side of the contest, Quicksilver was doing something down at the beach. They were doing like these little gatherings and kind of like mock heats and stuff at 54th Street. And I'm pretty sure that was all part of Woolie's doing, or the team manager at the time. And so then Woolie started Volcom. It was kind of like, hey, Troy, I want you to go down and just put up a tent and do whatever. And in the beginning, we did it on Wednesdays, and we called it, oh God, what was it? Early surf, late skate. So we'd basically bring down a tent, and then we bring like donuts and coffee or something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was just a gathering, and we just would give out stickers, and there would be no heats or anything. It would just be like, hey, let's just hang out. And then middle of the day, then we'd go back up to our first warehouse, which was a hole in it was tiny, and we had 2 quarter pipes, and then we'd skate the quarter pipes. And that was the first kind of entry into the Let the Kids Ride Free. But then ultimately we started focusing more on the surf, and then we started to create heats, and then it was a contest, and we never had any permits. We were just like roguing it basically. And then it just really just like blossomed from the surf side of things. So then we went to another city and then another city, and then all of a sudden it's like nationwide, and then it's global, and that's over the course of many years. And then we were doing it legitimately. We were doing, the permits and things like that. And then we'd have this world championship at 54th Street where we just give away tons of cash and tons of prizes. And we even gave away a KX250F one year to the winner, and crazy stuff, like just out of this world. And it was all free. And that was the whole premise of the entire series. And just early on, probably a few years into the surf side of things, was like, we need to do this in snow and skate. And so then naturally that's kind of what happened. And yeah, the PBRJ, and then Wild in the Parks was the skate one. And that was huge for us. Like that was a major part of the brand, I believe. It was kind of like, for me, it was like the movies and then Let the Kids Ride Free were the 2 huge things. Because it was the time when we were able to just like be with the kids and just have a good time. And anybody could enter. It was like you could be completely broke and have a skateboard and show up and do the contest. And then, so many people have gone through those events from, for sure surfing, and I know skating and snowboarding as well, right?
Yeah, and just it goes back to what you were saying too about when you're coming up with your quote unquote marketing strategy, and you're like, how does it feel? And I can imagine, putting on events. I know that when we do events, Silk, it's like we are freaking flying high. Like you just feel so good about what you're doing when the community comes together. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do you feel like the effect was for you guys in terms of like a business and the effect that the events had on you guys?
It's hard to really quantify it, but I feel like it just had a massive part of just the validity and authenticity of what Volcom stood for. And of course, I didn't mention the athletes. It's kind of those, it's like the athletes, the movies, and then the Let the Kids Ride Free to me were like the big, and then I could go further, the art direction, and then the ads too. So, but those few things.
And it inspired a generation. There's a generation out there of shredders, like in surf, skate, and snow, that grew up on the Let the Kids Ride Free. And everybody that went and everybody that competed walked away with something. It seemed like I remember I was judging a lot of the PBRJs back then. You know, they'd have the team riders come in for judging, you know, local events as well as the finals in Mammoth, and just seeing the amount of promo when we were just doing the product. I used to love the product toss because it was just the fattest boxes, and every kid got something. So that was so crucial for the culture, I think, in all three genres.
You just breezed over. Also, you mentioned the ads as well. Do you have a memorable ad campaign that sticks out when you were at your tenure at Volcom?
I mean, the one that's coming to mind right now is when we decided to use dogs in our ads and put board shorts on them. And yeah, that was a pretty bold one. And I remember we got so much shit for that, like from the executive team, just like, you know, we're trying to sell product and you freaking throw dogs in board shorts. And then the other thing that was kind of just funny now looking back on it, we would there'd be incredible photos of our team riders and we would take them out and put dogs in place of them, like doing airs and shit. Like, what the fuck?
Iconic photos of the world's top surfers.
Yeah.
We're going to go with dogs in board shorts, actually.
Yeah. But there's so many, there were so many other ones too. Like, yeah, I mean, Ethan Anderson deserves so much credit for developing the face of Volcom when it comes to the art direction. And I don't think that he gets enough credit. In my opinion, he's incredible and such a pleasure to work with for so many years. And it was really just me and him side by side and just like brainstorming what to do. And it was so fun. Like, I loved working with Ethan, and he's just an incredible human. Really appreciate him and his work.
Can you talk a little bit about like what I think a lot of people don't know on the outside is what internally was called the Art Loft and what that entailed?
Yeah, the Art Loft. I mean, it was just the creative hub, the creative center of Volcom. Everything that you saw from a public-facing standpoint came from the Art Loft, and it was like Ethan Anderson, Marty Jimenez, which is Jinx Skateboards back in the day. Jinx was there for a long, long time. So those two, and then Ben Bruff, who's an artist, he was a part of it. I mean, there was a lot of artists that cycled through there. Mike Aho was a big part of it as well. So, but yeah, it was just... it was where all the team riders wanted to go hang out too, and just like talk shit with the boys and look at what they're building and creating. And a lot of it was fully handmade, and then computers started to come online, and then it was all computers. And but yeah, you could just go up there and just like Ethan would just have like just stacks of magazines. Just this is when the magazine thing was going on, but just like thousands of magazine, and there'd be just like an X-Acto blade, and you'd like put the magazine out and just have guys like basically X-Acto things out to make collages. So some of the team riders were involved in a lot of the ads too, but like indirectly, and like Ethan would like put them to work like fully indirectly. It was pretty classic. Yeah, Art Loft was a massive part of Volcom.
Yeah, I remember going up, you know, I was skating with Ethan in the park and didn't even really know what he did. You know, I was just like coming in for a photo shoot, and then he's like, oh, yeah, I make all the ads. I'm like, no way, let me go check that out. We go up into the Art Loft. It was kind of one of my first times maybe being up there. And I remember distinctly it was this sequence of Javier Cemento. And it was from Chichagof. And it was probably like a 40-shot sequence. Him doing some crazy technical flip trick, Manny trick, flip out. And he had cut every single frame and was pasting it. And I'm just like, this is how you guys make ads? And then after it's all completed, all the stones, everything's laid in there with, you know, rubber cement and everything, then they scan it in and that's your ad. And it was handmade, like, to a T. And I think one of the things that, you know, you guys created is just like such a visual explosion of these campaigns. And like every ad was different, every ad was authentic, and just you could never replicate that. So.
Yeah, straight up. And then the other thing that got me thinking about with the ads is for so many years, we never duplicated one ad. Not one. Yeah. For like, I don't even know how long, like 15 years maybe. And then at some point it became, there was just so much going on that it was just too much work. Like we had to start duplicating some ads. I mean, overseas was the only time we really duplicated ads because we would, get them to use them in their different territories.
So what do you mean by duplicated ads? Like different magazine, different ad?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah.
Like Transworld Snowboarder would never see the same ad. You'd never see the same ad twice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nuts.
It was wild. It was a lot of work.
I want to go and talk about, obviously, Troy, he's a personal Mr. Miyagi of mine. We talk every other Wednesday, and a lot of times we end up talking about the bomb hole, and he Sherpas. He's a little life Sherpa, you can call him. But one thing that you shared with me once that stuck out is, he'll every once in a while he'll pepper in some insight, and he's like, "Can I share something with you?" He's like, "When I was at Volcom, we would go to Hawaii with the whole crew, the office crew, and just rage for like however long, a week." And we'd come back and we'd all work so much better. And like, I don't know, I kind of wanted to just hear about that experience and how that affected the company.
Yeah, we did a lot of that. A lot of bonding trips and just fun. It was just a fun culture. We had a lot of fun. One trip that's sticking out to me is a trip we took down to Baja into Las Gaviotas, which is a little place where you can like rent houses and it's by the ocean. And then there's these like sand dunes that are just down the road. And we went down there with an intention to just, it was meant to be a work bonding trip, but ended up being a bonding trip only. Like I remember having this whole kind of loose agenda. I was thinking, we could get some kind of like meetings in and things like that. And it just turned into just a freaking like 3-day party. But we were going down there to get prepared for a campaign for one of our sales meetings. And I remember it now, it just came so clearly, 2007, and it was the Peace Off tour. And so we went down there and did these like this hilarious skits with all the marketing people for the Peace Off tour. And we brought down all this like 70s garb and just fully just had this, I mean, we're all drinking tequila. Everyone's just getting hammered and just having the best time filming and just creating these like stupid skits in the sand dunes in Mexico. But yeah, I mean, anybody who was there would just instantly remember like how crazy that stuff was, but how fun it was. And then going back to work, it's just like, what do you want me to, like, we're all in, like, let's go. So it was huge. And we would do that in Hawaii. We do it in Mexico. We do it all over the world. And the trade shows was a big one too, of just being at those trade shows. And obviously the themes were incredible and crazy. And
just for the people that don't understand the trade shows, because they don't really happen anymore, explain exactly how you guys would show up for these trade shows. Yeah, so trade shows are when it's like the whole industry gets together and we're all selling the latest products and retailers are coming and it's not open to the public. It's a kind of a private thing. And, but yeah, we would just come up with the most crazy themes that we could think of. Like, I mean, one year it's called Rocktober or Volktoberfest. So it's basically an Oktoberfest and we're all dressed up in German, like, I don't even know what those things are called.
Leader,
yeah, whatever they are. And and it's all about drinking beer and then showing our product behind, the walls basically. And it was just, we would just go and rage, like straight up for days. And then like a circus theme, we were a circus, everybody's in clown gear. There was the frat one was insane. So we're like a fraternity and it was just insane. So those ones were hugely bonding for the market, for the whole company, really. Well, the people that got to go, it was like the sales and marketing and design. Like that was where we all really like bonded and had a really good time.
You guys would build like a little mini friggin' Volcom town. Like It was a full blown, like a corner block. I feel like with you guys would just take over and everyone would be like, "Oh, Volcom booth's fucking going crazy. Everyone's getting nuts over there." You go over there and you guys are all in lederhosen or whatever, getting after it.
Mm-hmm. But behind the the door or the fabric wall, it was all business in the back. Yeah. And then in the front, it was just chaos.
Chaos.
Every year.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to talk about Arbor. I like what Arbor's got going on these days. They're doing big things. So Arbor has been making high-performance snowboards for nearly 30 years with a little thing called craftsmanship, and they do it with a conscience. These guys were on the sustainability tip long before it was cool, using real wood top sheets, eco-friendly materials, and giving a damn about the mountains and the planet. They're backed by one of the sickest teams out there. We're talking Jared Elston, a.k.a. Big Air Jer, Mary Francois, Red Gerard, who just won an X Games gold, Brian Iguchi, Danny Cass, and many others. Arbor Snowboarding is resetting the standard, blending high performance and sustainability with precision, power, and purpose. So whether you're straight lining like a psycho or going full dummy in the park, Arbor's got A-grade boards and bindings that you need to ride your best. So check out Arbor. They got a lot of cool stuff going on. All right, people, I'm going to talk to you guys about Saxx underwear. And if you're a dude like me, I don't know why we never buy new underwear. I've had the same underwear for like 10 years. Recently upgraded to Saxx, game changer. They got great performance underwear. We're talking water wicking, dries quickly, great for athletics. But the thing that I love about these things the most is they have patented technology, patented 3D hammock technology. We're talking about the ballpark pouch, okay? It keeps your whole package dialed in so you can be an elite athlete and live a life of comfort. These things are unbelievable. Also, for female listeners, if you're looking to get a great gift for your husband or your partner so they can focus on you, focus on what matters, get them some Saxx underwear. So head on over to saxx.com, that's saxx.com, and upgrade your comfort today.
All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break with a brief message from our good friends over at Yeti. Introducing the brand new all-weather Kaio backpack. And I think it's fair to say we all understand that Yeti's products and bags are made with toughness, versatility, and comfort in mind. And the Kaio backpack is your best adventure-ready all-weather option. And let me just say, I think Yeti's finally done it. They made the perfect bag. It's got these nifty exterior pockets that, get this, are not connected to the rest of the bag. Now, this means a few things. The first is that with these external pockets, you can have easy access to your Yeti Rambler or Yonder water bottle, okay? It doesn't need to be bouncing around with the rest of your goodies. But that's not all. Get this, okay? Hypothetical. You go to the beach. It's sunny. It's hot. You're wearing a t-shirt, but boy, are you sweating, okay? After a long day of relaxing in the sun with your best pals, that t-shirt's going in the bag with the rest of your stuff, but it's covered in sweat, but not anymore. Thanks to the Yeti Kaio backpack, this sweat-drenched t-shirt can be in a separated pouch and not get anywhere near your beloved items. But it doesn't just stop there. Inside the bag, there are very thoughtfully placed pockets to help you stay organized on your day out. And built for comfort, the back panel on this Kaio backpack is uniquely designed to allow for airflow to keep you dry when you're working hard. I think it's fair to say that this bag is in its element, in the elements. And they got 3 sizes out there: the small but mighty 15, the 25 is your daily driver, and the 35L is great for long haul days. You can find the Kaio backpack at yeti.com, a Yeti retail store, or your local skate, surf, or snow shop. Get after it, folks.
Silk, you want to fire up that? We got a Patreon question in regards to some
this
stuff we're
question
talking about.
is from Steve Titus. He says, in today's world of performance-based marketing, all driven by data, explain how your marketing approach was different back then and what you believe was the secret sauce for Volcom's enormous success.
I mean, I kind of did share, but it was the feel. It was always just, and really just pushing ourselves to just kind of do something that felt uncomfortable. So it was how does this feel, and then pushing ourselves, and then the third thing that we haven't spoke much about that I think is very important, obviously, is the athletes, and so utilizing them in that whole, like in that capacity of those few things was what really drove the brand. I mean, we we were really intentional about our athletes and who rode for Volcom. And it was never really about results. It was always about like who the person is. And it was funny because we knew it quickly that it was a yes or a no when it came to athletes. It was just like, oh yeah, fully, or like, no, it doesn't fit. And so I think that is a culmination of why we were able to do what we ended up doing. And then the movies too, like here we are in the day of social media and one and done and just this instant gratification. It's like, I mean, it's so incredible when I go on Instagram and see what's being posted, and it's like I'm looking at a screen that's so tiny, yet what I'm seeing is like extraordinary, and that's it. And then it's on to the next thing. And so we were in this time capsule of none of that existed, and it was all about like we were able to just like bag all these incredible clips and create this story through these films, and then show it all over the world in different premieres and things like that, where we were able to just harness that time. And so I feel like that was a special sauce. And then the other thing too, we haven't talked much about, is the product was incredible too. And I feel the designers, Neil Harrison was someone that was involved early on. They were on the forefront of the product too. So it was kind of all the things, man. There's not really one thing. It was definitely a lot of different things. I don't know if that answered the question.
Yeah, I think that was great.
Nailed it.
Cool.
And if you think about the timing of when you guys came in, how you guys grew, and then, you fast forward to 2005, you guys went public. Is that right?
2005.
I mean, that is the peak of action, like money in action sports. Mm-hmm. And you look at that journey of going public. How did things change? And particularly, how did it change when you guys went public in terms of pressure from having to make the spreadsheet make sense from profit, right? Once you go public, you have to bring profits as a business, right? Yeah. So there's added pressure there. And how did that change for you?
How didn't it change? It changed a lot on so many levels. There was a lot of fear coming from me being as in charge of the marketing and the idea of the brand and the mantra, youth against establishment. Here we go, going public. It's like we are the establishment. Like that was what it felt like. And Wooly really, really, really struggled too, because he was just all about just keeping it core and all that. But there was a few things that kind of led into the decision to go public. And one of the biggest ones was, if we go public, we're going to have the resources to compete at the level of the people that we want to be competing with, because we weren't at the capacity to be able to compete with like the Billabongs and the Quicksilvers and those big surf brands at the time, because they were just like so much bigger than us. So literally overnight, now we have the money to compete on the floor, in the stores. I mean, the ads, we went in and just like took over magazines and things like that. And but ultimately I was like, wow, is this over? Like, is this going to be over? Like, are kids going to even want to buy this because we are the establishment now? And so we were poised with a really big task to keep it quote unquote cool as being a public company. And we succeeded. Like, in my opinion, like we succeeded for a while, like all the way until the company sold in 2011, and like I left around that time. And I feel like for me, it was like a big mission to just do my best to be able to be a part of the preservation of the core identity of Volcom. And I feel like we were able to do that.
Well said. We have a question from Brad Doherty. Here we go.
Hey, Troy. Brad Doherty here. Yeah, man, I was just wondering if there was ever a time that you wanted to quit. And if so, what drove you to that point, and what changed your mind?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. It's perfectly timed with where we're at in this conversation, because after those few years after we went public and just really paying attention to like preserve the brand, there came a time where I was like, okay, I feel like we're kind of there now. Like I feel like we're doing it, and it feels good in that regard. And at the same time, I was really struggling with just being a manager, and I had a big team at that point, incredible team. And there was also just a lot of things going on internally with just anybody. Any company is going to feel it. You know, everybody's showing up with different things in their lives that they'll bring it to work, and then it'll show up in work. So a lot of the time I would be the person everybody would come to just like talk about whatever, you know, and I became a coach then, and even before that, like with what I'm doing now. So but in that capacity, creativity was so important to me, and I just was not feeling creative at all. I was just like dealing with kind of other people's problems essentially. And so around 2009-ish, I remember about 2008, 2009, kind of when things were starting to get a little bit better after, the whole world took a shit with all the financial stuff that went down. But that was where I was like, man, I don't know if I can do this anymore at this level. But there was still a part of me that needed to get things a little bit more solid foundationally within my department, at least, to where I was like, okay, now I feel like I can walk away and I have a team in place that I feel so good about. And so then I went for another probably almost 2 years after that, where I was like checked out, but I was there still. So yeah, that's the truth in that one.
And just to give a little context to Brad, he was your number one in running the surf department.
Yeah. He was. Yeah, I hired him probably in because it was before the Quicksilver building, so it would have been around 97, 98. So he was there for a long, long time. Yeah.
I want to lean into walking away, because if you think about, you come in at 18, you got basically 20 years of flying the flag of Volcom and building this baby from the ground up with your crew around you and everything. And I'm curious, did you feel like a part of your identity was wrapped up in Volcom, that when like walking away was a big shift for you?
Absolutely. It was really, really hard. It was a tough decision, but I knew it was the right decision. And even after I did it, I was like, what the fuck? Why did I do that? You know, there was sort of this remorse, regret kind of energy a little bit of just, even though I knew deep down it was like time for me to move on, I still was like missing it, because it was such a part of me for so long. It was who I thought I was for a long, long time. And so, yeah, it was challenging.
But you initially had some shares from Volcom, so when you stepped away, you were financially stable at that point. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So you had a few years to kind of just do whatever you wanted? What did you do in that time?
I mean, this is when we moved to Kauai. Me, my young family at the time, I had a 1-year-old, or maybe a two-year-old and a 4-year-old. And then my wife at the time was pregnant with our third. So we moved to Kauai, and she was 7 months pregnant. And then basically within a few months of living there, she had the third child. So I was definitely daddy, big time. And I was just surfing a lot, living on Kauai. And I feel like I was making up for lost time a little bit, just like, because, I'm super, like, I love surfing. I love being athletic. And working at Volcom at the time was gnarly. Like, we were doing 10-hour days some days. And with marketing, as you know, Seth, it never shuts off. It's just 24/7. Because on the weekends, you're doing events or whatever it is, parties. So, yeah, I kind of just took a pause and needed to regroup for sure. And then I wanted to be a dad too, and just do that.
Where'd you go from there?
Yeah, on Kauai?
Or just in life?
Oh, God, that's a big question, Chris. I mean, I was there. We were there for 3 years on Kauai, and it was awesome. I was able to surf a lot and just kind of raise the kids a bit and get them in the ocean and just have a lot of fun that way. And then ended up going back to California, and then that's kind of when my marriage took a turn towards divorce, and then shortly thereafter I was divorced. So that was definitely a big shift in my life. Yeah.
At what point did you jump into your journey starting Cosm?
If I were to back up, yoga has been a very big part of my life for about 20 years now. And I actually I got tuned into it from Tim Brown, who's a sports therapist. He's like one of the OG legends. He's taken care of all of our athletes over the years, Terry included, Chet, everybody. But I had shattered my ankle riding a dirt bike, and I had gnarly scarring, and he was like, hey, have you tried yoga? And I'm like, no, I haven't. And so I started doing it with my wife at the time, and I'd do it at lunchtime at Volcom. So I'd come home from lunch and do an hour for yoga, like private yoga. And then I go back to Volcom, and I'd just be like, oh my God, this is insane. This is like helping me so much. So, over the course of the years and especially on Kauai, like that's another thing that I did was really dive into my yoga practice. And I practice Ashtanga yoga, but not so much anymore just because it's like extreme's not the right word, but it takes a toll on your body, basically. Right. At the time, it was incredible for me. And so, yeah, when I came back to California, I was just thinking about what I was going to do. And I just the divorce was over and done. So just in this real soul-searching kind of phase and feeling like wanting to like build something again. And ultimately, I was wearing board shorts, practicing yoga, and I'm like, I want to look for men's yoga shorts online, and I couldn't find anything. And I'm like, wow, this feels like a niche that could be like tapped into. And so that's when I was like, I'm going to talk to one of my friends. His name's Derek Sabori, and he was at Volcom for a long, long time, and he was in charge. He was the VP of sustainability at Volcom, and I just approached him and said, hey, do you want to do this? And he actually ended up quitting Volcom, and then we started Cosm, which was a men's yoga clothing brand, and it was all sustainably based, like super intentional. It was direct to consumer. It was, coming from Volcom, I had such an experience of like how to do it one way, and then I wanted to do it a completely different way. And so ultimately, the idea, everything was incredible, but after about a year and a half, 2 years of building it and bringing it out, and it felt super aligned. But ultimately, I was making clothes again, and I'm just like, I'm in I'm in the clothing business again. Like what? Like I don't want to be in the clothing business. So I remember we were going to raise capital, or we were going to raise money, and I remember sitting in this investment pitch with this one person, and I'm sitting in the back of my mind going, I hope he doesn't invest. I hope he doesn't invest. I hope he doesn't invest. And that to me was just the red flag. I'm like, I can't do this. And I just like stopped. And so that was, that was a short little, it was a 2.5 year deal. We were into it, and I think it was a good idea and still is. So someone should do that.
I love it. Well, I'm going to change gears real quick and take a hard left turn into a section of the show. Do you know what this is called, Seth?
I believe it's Name That Video Part.
Okay. How you feeling, Troy, for Name That Video Part?
Sure. Let's go.
It's great.
He's feeling sure. I love it. All right. Here we go.
Chet Thomas, Terry Hawkinson, The Garden.
Yes, that's correct. Congratulations, Troy. You won yourself a Bombhole prize pack with a Yeti bag filled with Bombhole merch.
Hell yeah. Thank you.
So, obviously you edited that, so it's about as big of a meatball. You probably listened to that song 700 times while editing.
Oh, yeah. And I shot all the Chet stuff, too, so, yeah.
Oh, I love that part. I always loved, like, those early Volcom movies. It always had some sort of skate or surf incorporation, especially in on the snow movies. And I always drew a lot of inspiration of that, like cross pollution and putting skate stuff in Benny's part, Credo Cosm. It's like it was always a thing. It was like, and Jake did it in 9191 with Fanner. Yeah. So
it was, just to elaborate real quick, it's just funny that you say that, because I remember when we were doing the garden and we're like, we knew how, because snowboarders really looked up to skateboarding. So it was just like easy, and it just felt right. Yeah. Where like if we were trying to do like skateboarding and surfing or what, it just like would have not worked, So yeah, that was totally a thing for us to just kind of like, and we had Chet at that time. It was just like easy decision to do something like that.
What's your favorite part in the garden?
Good question, Seth.
That is a good question. My favorite part in the garden, it's got to be Sonora. It's got to be Deep Purple.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just the memories too of just being there and shooting that stuff and being with all the boys. It's like, and I remember picking that song too, and just like, oh, that was so fun. Just being like, whoa, this is amazing. Yeah.
Who picked Heart of Gold?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure who picked that one. Me or Wooly.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
That one still gives me the chills. I'll throw it in on that morning, like it's like barely getting light and it's nuking and you're going to Brighton and it's just like throwing Heart of Gold and just get juiced.
So sick.
Love that. Grainy black and white.
Yep.
All right, we're going to get into part 2 and name that video part. This isn't for you, Troy. This is for the listeners. If you guys know what song this is, comment on the photo of Troy on Instagram. We need a rider, video part, video. And that's where we pick our winner. And you get a sticker. What does it say, Silk?
I think it says, I won Name That Video part, and all I got with this stupid sticker.
That's correct. Okay, here we go.
Dass jemand irgendwann einmal aufgewacht ist, sich die Augen gerieben hat und dann ist ein Sandkorn rausgefallen und das war dann die...
Okay, it was a bit of an obscure choice, but it wasn't really a song. But you guys might know what that is. Thanks for playing Name That Video part. All right, I'm going to keep things going here, and we have a guest question from none other than Tyler Bierman. Here we go.
What's up, Bombhole? This is TB calling in for a question from Mr. Troy Eckert. Troy, you have played an instrumental role in my life and so many countless others by sharing your wisdom and perspective through coaching. What in life led you to start your own self-work journey? And what would you maybe recommend as a first step to any of the listeners out there that may be struggling and are curious about starting their own self-work journey? Love you, Troy. Love you, Bombhole. Can't wait to hear your answer and can't wait to listen to the episode. Love you guys. Peace.
T-business. Oh, well, I want to answer it backwards of what would I say to anybody wanting to start their journey? And don't wait for a challenge. Start it now, because the challenge is coming. I promise you. We're not immune. Investigate now. Ask deeper questions within yourself, and have a go, and just get curious. Because for me, there's like levels to my self-work. And I think when I shared my introduction to yoga about 20 years ago was from a challenge of just like an ankle thing, which isn't, it's something that can be fixed for the most part. But that was my introduction, but it springed me into deeper questions within myself, but I wasn't ready to really look at them the way I ended up looking at them later in life. And so my divorce was a big one for me, was really when I looked at had to look in the mirror and just be like, what needs to change? What didn't work? Why did this, dissolve in the way it did? Because I play a part in it. Even though I might project or victimize or whatever, it's like we're all responsible for everything that we do, no matter if we think we're a victim of someone else doing something to them, there's still a role that you play. So that was really where I had to like start looking. And then, after my divorce, I kind of wasn't, I kind of went off a little bit on the deep end, just kind of like partying a bit and just really escaping the pain. And then I feel like the pain came later. It was like, hey, the pain's still here. You haven't grieved. You haven't looked at this. So I'm going to show you what you've been avoiding, basically. So, and I think it showed up in some relationships that weren't fully, they were aligned with my state of consciousness at that time. And they ended up being just like not conducive to any sort of healing whatsoever. It was more escapism. And then ultimately where it really hit me was I got mold poisoning in the house I was living in, and which was really debilitating and very scary. And then I had my first panic attack in the grocery store with my middle daughter at the time, and it was very frightening. And so that was the pain and the situation that really looked back at me as like, well, now you can't avoid it. Like you're dealing with like physical symptoms and things that are just disorienting and brain fog and just all kinds of stuff. And it was really challenging. So that was really where it like kicked me off, and knew I needed to make some like hard changes in my life if I wanted to heal and thrive and just live a quality life that I want to live. So that's the short answer to that question.
What did those changes in inquiries look like initially?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of unraveling of belief systems. I mean, it was huge for me. A big catalyst was when I was going to therapy with just kind of trying to heal my divorce and things like that, or just things within me. And it was all during this mold thing too. So it was all very like disorienting. And I just was like not really getting the results I was hoping for from therapy. So I started to look around of different modalities and things that were out there. And that's really when I stumbled upon coaching. And I'm like, wow, this is pretty interesting. And then I kind of inundated myself with just like, well, what is the coaching thing and what does it entail and what's it all about? And I listened to this podcast that's like all these coaches and just learned so much cool stuff. And the thing that really resonated with me the most with the coaching world was all of these people are sharing their life experience. And as you probably know with therapy, like they can't do that. Like they can't, it's about you and your experience. Like they can't share that from person to person. So when I hear, coaches talking about depression and like anxiety and like I was suicidal and all this sort of thing, I'm just like, well, that's human. That's humanity. That's being a human right there. So it's almost as if for me, I was like, I trust it even more because of the experience that they've gone through, and now they're on the other side and they're become this coach or this person of influence to help people. So it felt very inspiring. So from that podcast, I ended up finding my coach. I listened to like probably 50 podcasts. I was kind of not knowing it, but I was looking for my coach by listening to all these podcasts, and I found one. His name is Richard Morgan, and he was from Maine, East Coast Maine. And reached out to him, and I worked with him for probably 2 years or more. And he also was the one that helped me start my business, my coaching business. And I just was like, I want to do this. I want to like do this for me. I feel like this is perfectly in line with where I'm at in my life to help others based on like my experience. And so that was sort of how I got introduced to that world and tuned into that for myself, which has been profound, incredible, revealing, and just, I'm just so grateful to be doing what I do. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, I would love for you to talk about like what exactly it is that you do as a coach.
Ultimately, I think I help people remember who they are. And there's nothing that's broken and nothing needs fixing. And once you remember who you are, you can do whatever the fuck you want in your life. And there's a lot of baggage that we all hold going through life. And I mean, like I said before, belief structure, like beliefs are everything. And that stuff gets imprinted from very early in our lives. So once we become dedicated to the truth, then I feel we can step into our greatness. So that's my elevator pitch for you.
Yeah. Well, you said, I think I do that, and I can speak from experience. You do that. That is what you do. And, one thing that we discuss a lot when I'm talking with you is the subject of choice. For example, I might say, oh, I have to go to a meeting today, or I have to do something that I don't want to do. I use the word, I have to do this, or I have to do that. And you always correct me. And you always say, no, you choose to do that. And I would love for you to tee off on choice.
I mean, everything's a choice. Everything is a choice. But we are so conditioned and so habitual, we don't even recognize that we're making choices all day long. And so if you really become aware of the choices you're making and then you look at the report card, which is your life, and see how things are going. And I mean, you could look at it and be like, hey, things are going incredible. I'm making incredible choices. Or you know what? Things aren't going so well. It starts with your choices. So if you can make a different choice, you're going to go on a different trajectory, even if it's a minute one, which is, I think by experience, Chris, it's like, it's all nuanced, small steps. This isn't like giant leaps, this work. It's all incremental. It's like, I think of it as like a bank account accruing interest. It's like over time, you're doing 2-3% over time. You don't notice that the bank account's increasing, but it's getting substantially bigger. And that's, I feel like, what this work is all about. And just being dedicated to making some change for the better for yourself.
I want to go back to, as well, first of all, beautifully said, but I want to go back to what you said earlier too about living in truth, because that's a common theme amongst our calls as well. And I don't know the quote verbatim, but the essence of the quote is, you're never wrong when you're living in your truth. And can you try to better articulate that?
The truth, it's like the true cliche, the truth will set you free, because it always does. It always brings whatever you're hiding behind to the surface. And most of the time people don't really want to hear the truth because it's fucking hard. It's like, whether it's in a relationship of like, wow, the truth is I'm not happy in this relationship, but I'm pretending I am, right? So it's like once you bring that level of authenticity and honesty into your life, just by default, everything's going to change. But that's it's fucking scary work. It's real. I mean, it's wild.
Powerful stuff. The other thing that comes to mind in this subject too, that you're always asking us too, is, when confronted with a tough decision or choice, you always hit us with the hard-hitting question: what would love do? And when you really analyze that, when you're making a choice, it can be really powerful. Why do you ask that?
Yeah, well, I was gifted that question from my coach, Richard Morgan, for sure. And he would just come back to that all the time. And I'd just like, damn, not that one again. Because it's just, when I get clear on what would love do, it's that's when the truth just bubbles up to the top. And it could be the love for yourself in the moment. It could be the love for another. And then love shows up in so many different ways, right? And it could show up as boundaries, right? Like that's what love would do. It would be to place a boundary on a situation right now, where some people might think like that it doesn't feel like that's what love would do, but actually that's what love would do, is throw up a boundary to protect yourself, but then also gifting the other person by placing a boundary on a situation or whatever it is. So yeah, that's a powerful question. And I use it all the time. I use it for myself all the time. And then sometimes I'll throw in other words too. I'll be like, what would fear do? And then get clear on like, oh, okay, that's what fear would do. It would stay small, it would stay limited. It wouldn't, step outside the box. It would, whatever. It wouldn't push yourself. And so then I can get clear on like actually what I want to be doing in the situation.
And would you say those are opposites? Love.
Absolutely.
The opposite of love is fear.
Absolutely. And yep. Fully.
Okay. What would fear do is a pretty deep question.
Mm-hmm.
But fear expresses itself in a lot of different ways.
Mm-hmm.
What are maybe some of the emotions associated with fear?
Guilt's a big one. Shame's a big one. Anger, frustration, resentment. Fear just doesn't feel good. It's just debilitating. And when we project onto others the guilt or the shame or whatever it is, the resentment to me is one of the biggest ones. Is like resenting another. That's a very deep fear, right? And so I feel like being in touch with your emotions is like number one, right? Is to be like, and it goes back to the somatic, which is your body, and just like, how does this feel right now for me? And I feel like, we know what love feels like. It's just like expansive. You're just like stoked, like, let's go. Like, this is incredible. This feels so good. Like, that's love. And fear is just the opposite, and it just keeps us small and just feels yucky.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I want to say thank you so much for bringing so much awareness to me around this stuff too. And, with what we've been building here at the Bomb Hole, you are such a big catalyst behind the scenes into all of the choices that I make. And I feel as though you doing all these things at Volcom and ultimately feeling like your creativity is stifled and having to step away and into this journey that you're on now, I'm able to learn a lot through your experiences, which I'm so thankful for. But oftentimes you always do these things, which is the best thing to hear ever. But, like I'll talk to you and I'll be like, oh, I got this great idea when I was driving home from the track. And you'll just kind of bring some awareness around that. And you'll be like, Chris, you get a lot of good ideas when you're leaving the track. I think you should ride your dirt bike more. And I'm like, that's exactly what I wanted to hear, Troy. But I think that you have to be very intentional to not get bogged down with admin and things to not stifle creativity, right? You have to be very intentional to stay in a creative pocket.
Yeah. Yeah. Typically we're not creative. We're not creative when we're in fear. Like fear doesn't create creativity. It's like you said, like coming away from the track and having those feelings that you just pull from the track is just, you feel so good. And all of a sudden, boom, these things just start clicking, Yeah. And so, yeah, I'm a massive advocate of that. Like my first thing for people is just like, what are you doing? Well, here's an example. So maybe something I would ask somebody is like, okay, so what's important right now? And then typically a typical answer would be like my kids, great, if they have kids. Of course, my relationship with my partner, my wife, which is great as well. And then work, or maybe work's number one, and then, or whatever, like those kind of things. And then I'll be like, well, where are you on the list? And then they're just like, some might say like, I'm at 4, or like, actually like, I think I'm at like number 4. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, what would it be like if you're in number 1? Like, how would all those other things be affected if you put yourself first? Your kids, your work, your relationships, your friendships, like everything that you're doing. And I feel like for people to like receive that, or not receive, but give them that permission for themselves to put them to the top of the list, that's when things start to really like kind of change. And when they're actually choosing them first. And this isn't out of selfishness. This is out of just like I mean, this is really just foundational self-care. But we're always, like, as humans, like, we love to take care of people, which is amazing, but it's like we need to take care of ourselves first before. It's like put your mask on first before the other one, right? That's the thing. So, and I'm just promoting that all day long because, I mean, I have experience coming from with Volcom and working super hard and just like having a family and then just recognizing like, wow, I really put others first, and there was some things that fell by the wayside because of that, you know. So
and just to kind of lean into that too, I've subscribed to the capacity to love others is directly correlated with your capacity to love yourself. So I feel like there can be a cap on it due to your own relationship with yourself in some ways, right? So you can kind of blow the door off of how much you love your kids. If you're living in self-hate, it's hard to have love for others, right? I don't know if that speaks to you at all, but that's what comes up when you were saying that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a tough way to live, to exist in the world, is like loving others but not loving yourself.
Well said. We're gonna keep going down this coaching stuff because I think it's really good. And one thing I've always wanted to ask you about, you work with some high level surfers, and the past few years, Griffin Cola. Is it okay to talk about Griffin on this?
It's okay.
And so he had a chance to clinch the title last year, and I was talking to you. And you were out there with him, and it was a big deal, right? Winning the title's major. What types of things are you doing when you're in somebody's corner and they are there for a big moment?
I feel like for me, I want to be a grounding energy just with them and around them, even as a presence. Like, it's almost like, for me, that's first and foremost, it's just to be kind of around. Because I feel like there's an association of like, groundedness when I'm there with them, but then ultimately, like, I focus on, for them, it's not what they're doing, it's who they're being. And I feel like if they can show up with, a big question I'll have for all of the athletes, and everyday Joes as well, is, imagine if you woke up every single day and you just ask yourself, who do I want to be today? Like, not what do I want to do? There's tons of things to do. And the to-do list never ends. Who do I want to be? How do I want to show up to my family? Who do I want to be in the world at my workplace? Or, so for those guys at that high level, it just seems to just really put things into perspective, because they can just really tune into, like, like, for example, Griffin might say, like, I want to be just the best version. I just want to, like, be, like, happy and show up in my fullness and just stoked and that sort of thing. And it's just like, you're just instantly raising your vibration, your frequency. And then a lot of the time they'll go out in the water, and then it's almost as if the energy matches the frequency, and then the waves come to them, and all of a sudden they're getting the waves that they are hoping to get, and then they're surfing the way that they're wanting to surf, because there's a level of freedom from kind of that intention.
That is incredible.
Well said. And
that is mind blowing.
That is, like, I brought this up a few weeks ago. I got this never ending to-do list. He said, what does your to-be list look like? And it was a total mind shifter. Like, who do I want to be today? And if you go through your life and you can be the person that you want to be, then the to-do list flows like the salmon of the Capistrano, brother. It's easy.
I just go back to all those times, like 6 a.m. at the top of a massive cheese wedge, ready to get a clip. And if I would only ask myself, who the hell do you want to be right now?
Yeah.
Because I was scared. Yep. Dang, Troy, that's incredible. Incredible.
Let's talk about modalities too, because you've been doing some pretty radical stuff. What have you been doing that has been helping you tune into that high frequency, making you the bright person you are?
That's a big one. But I mean, ultimately for me in my life, I feel like I'm just going through a massive shedding, letting go, and unlearning, and sort of relearning myself and relearning what it feels best for me in my life to do or be a part of. But there's been a lot of different things that I've experimented with over the years, and plant medicine's been a big one for me. Ayahuasca, I've had multiple sits with that medicine, which has been very scary, unveiling, amazing, beautiful, and powerful. So that has been a really, really journey of truth for sure. And the medicine is going to just shed everything away. It's going to show you exactly what's going on. And, you know, I got to a point in those experiences where I was able to really ask deep questions with the medicine itself. And then typically I would get the answer that was best. Well, all the time I would get the answer that was best for me, even though it was the answer maybe that I didn't want to hear. So powerful. And so there was a few years where I was really deeply into that work, which I think is very meaningful and very powerful. And at the same time, also, I think, you know, it's very trending right now too. And I think it's something to be discerning about as well. You know, not everybody should go do ayahuasca because not everyone's wired in a certain way or they can handle that medicine. It's very powerful and potent. And at the same time, if you're coming into it just with the right set and setting and the people and that sort of thing, it can be life-changing for sure. But the biggest thing for me was and is always with any sort of retreat or anything, whether it's with medicine or not, is integration. Is like, okay, this is what happened. This is what I've learned. How am I integrating it into my experience now? And that is always kind of like up-leveling and changing for me all the time based on whatever it is that I'm doing. I mean, even a morning meditation like we did this morning. Like I don't know where you were at, but I felt some shit today.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I wasn't expecting it. And that's the coolest thing about meditation is I feel like if for me, when I'm consistent enough and just do my daily practices, like this morning, I was like, yeah, let's just do this meditation. And then we drop in and I'm like, all of a sudden I'm just like fully just feeling emotions and movement, energies coming through me in a way that I just wasn't expected without medicine, without any plants or anything like that. So from the ayahuasca, and then I started to go to the Joe Dispenza, Dr. Joe Dispenza's retreats, and ended up going with Griffin and some of the surfers, and it was so cool. We've been to two. I've been to two with Koa Smith, Griffin Colapinto, and Crosby. We've been to two together, and then I was also able to take my 18-year-old daughter Jaya to one in Florida this last year, and it was just like the most mind-blowing, powerful experience I've ever had in my entire life. And that was without the medicine. So I love his work and what he's doing for the world because he's helping us connect to our innate power through your mind, essentially. And it's not about controlling the mind; it's about opening up the heart, is what it is, into to just really the field. I mean, he's lecturing about quantum physics and the quantum field and how to connect and create from it. Whether it's if you want to heal, if you want to create a business, like whatever it is that you want to be creating, it's just like all this stuff is always existing. It's omnipresent. There is no time in space in the quantum. So yeah, once I kind of got into Joe's work, I really paused on the ayahuasca because I was like, wow, I can just like tap this keg and just do it freaking tomorrow or right now in this moment. And then I don't feel that the effects of the medicine wearing off because that's real. Like when you come off ayahuasca, it's like, and I feel like that integration part is like crucial. And I feel like some people, I mean, my thought is that some people might miss that opportunity. And then they're like, oh, back to another ayahuasca ceremony. And it becomes this like entertainment thing. It's just like, that's not what this is about, or that medicine is not about that in any way. So, yeah. You
were just describing this Joe Dispenza week-long week of meditation. How many hours are we meditating for? What the hell's going on here?
Yeah, it's wild. These retreats are 2,000 people, and we meditated 37 hours in 7 days. Or really, it's 5 days or something. It's just like incredible. And so yeah, we're going very deep.
And talk about the pineal gland meditation you were describing.
Yeah, the pineal gland meditation. So, I mean, he does a crazy, everything's a build up with him. It's just like he's building you up to these different meditations. So like that meditation's at the end of the week. And the one that we did starts at 4 a.m. and it ended at 9 a.m., not p.m. So it was a 5-hour meditation. And he's basically connecting you to your pineal gland, which is the radio receiver in your body that's connecting you with the field or with other worlds. You know, you can go super deep with it, and it's like DMT is it's serotonin, and then DMT is produced, they say, from the pineal gland as well. Or I'm not a scientist, I don't know all the technicalities completely, but like this is what he's teaching. You do your own homework, everybody. But ultimately, we do own DMT. Like the body naturally produces DMT. So this is allowing us to tap into that chemical, which is the main chemical of ayahuasca. And then you can blast off and just connect. And it's connecting you to all oneness, all love, omnipresent, all one, everything all at once. And that's where you can really like draw in your experiences or what you want in your life. So it's wild shit, man.
Yes, it is.
Fucking wild.
It is. So did you blast off when you got?
Yeah. Totally. I mean, and then there's other people that are actually blasting off. Like you hear people blasting off. It's 2,000 people, so you hear people like screaming and like going through crazy shit. It feels like an ayahuasca ceremony when that shit's going down. You're just like, this is insane. It's cool.
100%. And a topic that comes up a lot, probably related to fear and love too, is limited versus unlimited consciousness. Can you discuss that a bit?
Limited versus unlimited consciousness. Yeah, I'm
just peppering you with questions right now.
Yeah, I mean, limited consciousness is like almost like not our fault in a way. It's just, again, belief structures and which are coming from childhood and societal conditioning as well, and we carry that into whether it's I'm not worthy, I'm not enough, I don't deserve it. And then inherently you're limiting yourself, but you don't even know you're doing it, and that's coming from your unconscious essentially. And yeah, unlimited is like, again, it's like it takes work to really understand how unlimited that you actually really are. And I feel like meditation and these different kind of like mindfulness practices and I mean snowboarding, like being in nature, like surfing, like nature is, that's the connector. I mean, I'm assuming most people that are watching this are snowboarders, and I mean, they're having their meditation. They just might not be knowing they're having their meditation when they're doing a power run or hitting a big jump or doing whatever it is that keeps you so in the present. Like that is the meditation. When you're in the present and you're not thinking about anything else but what's happening right now, you're meditating. And I think that that's important for people to understand too. Meditation can be walking in a meadow with your feet on the ground or in the grass, bare feet. You know, it's like, it's all here, right? You don't need to be sitting on a pillow and take that time. I mean, it's helpful, but at the same time as you can understand that like your life is a meditation if you really understand that. And I feel like when you tune into that and play with that a little bit, you might see things that happen in your life that are really cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lizard King here. And I've got a fantastic new product for you. It's Run Through a Wall nasal strips. Eucalyptus flavored, 30 in a pack. And it will make your life 25% better. Do you sleep next to someone that's constantly snoring, ruining your life, making it so you're groggy, grumpy, and angry in the morning? Buy them some nasal strips from runthroughawall.com. It's a fabulous website. We've got breathing salts. We've got nasal strips. Go to runthroughawall.com, type in Lizard King at the checkout, and you can get yourself 10% off. Good to see you.
Pardon me, folks. Commercials suck, but this one's actually pretty sweet. I need to let you know about Nidecker Need to Know. Every week we're giving away a bunch of awesome prizes like these, the Key to Boot. This is my signature colorway. I really like the durability of this boot and just how it holds its structure throughout the season. So all you got to do is answer this one question. What is the most influential snowboard movie of all time? Comment your answer on this week's guest's photo on the Bombhole Instagram, and we'll pick a winner. Good luck.
Yeah, beautifully said, Troy. And I think that you are living proof of that in your life. And I have to say, on my personal experience, getting older and seeing you in your 50s and still progressing on your surfboard, I mean, we got to talk about this fucking bomb of a lifetime down in Baja, roughly about a year ago, I'd say, right?
No,
2 years ago?
almost 2 years ago.
Okay.
Now. Yeah, 2.5 years ago. Yeah.
Just this is long form. Just fucking lay it all out there, because your caption on the wave and what it meant to you is so powerful, and the experience that you had on this massive wave in your 50s. Walk us through it.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, that was a defining moment for me in my surfing career. Not that I have a career, my surfing life. It's more of a life for sure. And I've had a lot of other incredible waves, but this one was probably the most meaningful one. And yeah, I think probably a big part of it, the reason why, well, there's many reasons, but like one is I had just turned 50 years old, and, you know, becoming 50, you're like, fuck, you're kind of you're definitely on the other side of you're on the other side of the peak.
You're on the back nine.
You're on the back nine. You're freaking, things are getting real. There's a level of mortality that's coming into consciousness that honestly helps me on the daily, for sure. But especially from when it comes from an athletic standpoint and being involved in athletes, being involved as an athlete in whatever it is that you're doing. For me specifically, surfing is sort of my go-to, and I've been surfing my entire life. Yeah, there's definitely some ego that's kind of like you're being challenged with the ego of like, it's not how it used to be. Can you even do what you did before? Can you do it at a level that you want to do it to have it feel good? Because ultimately it's like, why do we do anything in life? It's typically because it feels good. So yeah, that wave was really special. There's a few things that made it so special, but one thing I'll just share about the spot itself, it's called Salsa Puedes, and everybody knows about it. So, and the reason why I can share that name on like in a public forum is the wave breaks like that, like every 15 years. Like it has to be the most exact swell direction, swell height. The tide needs to be low. The winds need to be right. I mean, it's the unicorn. It's a straight unicorn. And I've been going there for many, many years, for the last 25 years. And I've never seen it like this that day. This is the first time I'd ever seen it like this. And yeah, when the swell came on the maps, it was just, because I always have my eye on that wave, and a lot of the people in Southern California do, as it's one of the best waves on the coast when it goes. Like it arguably is. So yeah, that I saw the swell and just was watching the storm and just like, wow, this thing's looking like it might actually do it. Like it might be low enough, like the storm track needs to be like low enough right off the coast of California for the most part. And it has to be really west. It's almost like, it's just like so west, because this wave is tucked into this little corner, and it has to do almost like a 180 degree kind of like wrap in to really get there. And so, yeah, me and my friend who I go down to Mexico with a lot, he's a really great surfer and fireman. We were like, I think this is going to happen. I remember the day before I was in my house, I was at my house, and I was like checking the waves at Carlsbad, and I was watching waves break in places I'd never seen before. I was like, this is the fucking real deal. Like this is going to be on. But at the same time, just trying to stay calm and just, not get too excited. And and knowing like the mind's going, well, there's going to be, 100 people out. It's going to be hard to get a wave. Like just watching the mind kind of like go through the process of argue for the limitation almost. But so yeah, I just created an intention. I'm like, you know what? I just turned 50 years old. It's going to be what it is. The waves could be good. Like you never know what could happen. Just go and just get rid of your expectations. Just leave them at home. Just like leave them. And so I had that consciousness going into that day, and we went down there, and then I surfed before that session, and it was really high tide and kind of weird, but I missed it like a really good wave, and I was like super bummed at myself. I was like, fuck, I just missed this like epic wave. I'm like, okay, it's time to reset. And I go in and just kind of reset for a few hours, and then everyone's showing up because everyone shows up when the tide's getting lower, because that's when the wave is going to be like, I mean, we're talking a short window, because the tide was like that day, the tide was low around 3:00 in the afternoon, and it was peak winter. So it's getting dark. It's dark by 5. So you're talking about a 2-hour window where it's going to be like on, basically, if it's going to be on, and the place is so fickle, you like never know. There could be, I've had so many times I've gone down there when I'm like, oh my God, this is the swell. And you go there and it's barely breaking. You're just like, what the fuck? Like how is it not good? Everywhere else is giant. So yeah, this day it was like, I knew something special was going to happen in the water. Like, was I going to get the wave? I didn't know or have really much expectation, but I like took out a board that's bigger. It's a 6'6", doesn't sound big, but for me it's big. And it's a super thick board, and it's almost made as a mid-length board. So it's almost made as like kind of a cruiser board, and it's a twin fin. And, but I'm like, if there's a wave to catch, this is the board to catch it. Like, this is the board that I want to be on out there. And so got out, and it's kind of a crazy shore break to get out. It's crazy boulders, just like fucking gnarly.
Just to get in the water, you're saying?
Just to get into the water, yeah. And I remember like somehow me and this other guy, Dylan Graves, he's another like professional surfer and super amazing human. We were both like right next to each other, and like we like somehow like skirted out and were able to get like right out in between the sets. And I was like, that was good. And then I'm paddling up the point, and so I'm going to the spot where I normally sit it's a big long point, but there's a very distinct spot that we typically sit when the waves are on. And I get out there to the spot, and I think it's the spot, and then I look up maybe like 300 yards, and there's a pack of like 15, 20 guys, and I'm like, what the fuck are these guys doing way up there? And I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna like go up there and just see what it's all about. Just paddle up there and just kind of like mosey my way out and just cruised out. And it ended up being like, it was like Griffin and his brother and all like the pros from all around. And I think we counted 85 guys out from the top to the bottom of the point. Like, that's how crowded it was. It was crazy. And just paddled all the way up to the top of the point, and I was like, I'm just gonna sit wide. So there's kind of like a pack that's closer to the top of the point, and I just sat wide of the pack, and I must have been there maybe 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and I'm by myself, just kind of off to the side a little bit. I'm just like, okay, I feel like it could be a wide one that's going to come in, and I'm just going to be here. And if it comes, great. And if it doesn't, that's totally fine. I have no expectations. I'm just stoked to see this energy and watch these waves go down. And sure enough, like within 10 minutes this whole thing happened within about 25 minutes of me being in the water, like from start to finish, because the paddle out's a good 10 minutes just to get to the spot. And so I remember just seeing the horizon just kind of like lifting, and I'm like, this is a big set coming. And I'm like, okay, just start paddling out, and I could tell it was like definitely going wide, kind of where I was, but I didn't know where to be. This is the first time I've ever even been out there that far. I've never been out there before, because I've never even seen it break and connect from the top to the bottom. I didn't even know it was a thing. And so I kind of like going wide, the set comes, the first one goes by, and then the next one stands up, and I'm like, holy shit. These guys are like, I'm like paddling even further wide. I'm like, these guys are all too deep. They're all too deep. I know it. And sure as shit, I just whipped it, and then just got this like chip shot, which is just kind of like, it's almost like a push from God, basically. It's just like here you go, like one of those deals. And I stood up and I'm like, there's no way someone's not behind me with all these guys right here. And I look and there's just no one there. And I'm just like, I cannot fucking believe I had a moment of like fully being in my thoughts. Like it was like, you're on this wave alone. And then it was like, then it went completely blank. Like I just went fucking blank. But I do remember like kind of like highlining in this one section, it kind of barrels and then it just draws off the reef. And it's just like boulders and gnarly underwater, but it just like sucks out so hard. And I like bottom turn and then I notice I'm like, I'm too deep right now. Like it was just, and then I just did this like hell pump and then the thing just completely slabbed over me and like just tippy toes, just like barely, I felt like 2 or 3 times in the barrel. I'm like, there's no way I'm coming out of this. It was like that moment of like, oh, I'm done. It just kept going. And then it just freaking let me out. Yeah. And it was insane. It was like a very profound moment in my life and just came out and I grabbed my head and it was just like, that was fucking mind blowing. It was like one of those moments of just being completely, fully like dissolved, you know, I mean, talk about a meditation. Like I was like one with all at once, you know, no beginning, no end, just like vapor, basically just vaporized. And yeah. And I went in right after, one and done. I caught one other wave, but it was kind of just like a go-in wave. I was like, I remember just shaking after the wave. I was so freaked out and I just went in and then I went up to the parking lot and then I freaking cracked a beer and, and the waves were just like still, I mean, actually it was crazy because that wave that I caught, it was like the only wave that came in the whole day that did that. And there were other really good waves. Like, don't get me wrong. There's footage of like guys getting so drained, but the way that wave hit the reef and it was just like the size of the wave, there was no other wave that came in like that. And I freaking somehow got it, you know? And so, yeah, after just really sitting with the experience and then seeing the photos and seeing the video and then just feeling into what it really represented for me was just like, you're on the right path. You're doing the work. Keep going. Keep having faith. Keep trusting. And even if it gets hard, just like, it's just part of it. And this is proof of your life's work in this moment. Like that's what it felt like for me. And, but yeah, it was a pretty dang special moment. And I mean, to this day, I'm like, I have the photo, like Coe Smith brought me this like massive, amazingly framed huge photo of one of the main photos of the sequence and I have it in my house. It's like my only surf picture and I get to look at it every day and so it brings me right back to that moment. And yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I've been surfing my entire life since I was 10 years old, so that's 42 years I've been surfing. And like I was saying before, like I've had a lot of incredible waves, but none as meaningful as this. And especially at 50 years old when like every kid, it was all kids out there for the most part. It's like half my age, like most of them, and so I'm like, wow, this is substantial just in the terms of just the meaning of it for me personally. And yeah, give some hope out to the older dudes out there. You can freaking still get it for sure. And yeah, it's there for you if you want it.
If I'm hearing you right too, is part of the gift of this wave just the awareness around being able to take in the gift itself, like like having the awareness to realize to take in the moment, right, and not turn around and paddle out and catch another one, right? It was
well, my ego wanted to go back out for sure, and I had to really like stop and pause, and I'm like, don't blow this moment. Don't blow the moment, like feel this moment. Like this is really special. And even, I mean, that year, like we had 3 huge swells that year. And even after it still was breaking like a couple different times. It didn't get as good as that day, but like I had people ask me like, want to go? Like, let's go. I'm like, dude, I'm good. Like, I'm not going back down there right now. Like I don't want to like ruin this moment and what that all. I don't want to go out there and have a shitty session. You know what I mean? Really, I want to like capsulize and really just really feel into the what it meant for me. And yeah, that awareness is like huge because, you know, we all take things for granted in life, and even a good POW day or something, you know, it's like you might be like, fuck yeah, it was a good POW day. It was epic and the boys and whatnot. But it's like, man, that shit's rare. It's like, it's right to have those like really substantial moments in our lives where it's like, we remember it for like years and years and years of like, oh, I remember that day. It was so sick. So yeah, I think the invitation is to just be aware of the beauty and the importance of like these moments in our lives, because they don't come that often at all. So that's for me is like just really tuning into that with these. I mean, it comes even with my children, you know, just like being around my daughters. It's just like, wow, they're getting older. It's like when you know, with Chip and stuff, it's like, man, you'll know how precious these moments are later. So it's like, don't miss the moments. And I mean, that goes for anything that's important to us in our life, I feel.
I like, I don't know, just to kind of roll that up in my head, because I remember when your post came through and I saw it and I read it and I was just like, damn, wow, you know, and someone captured it, you know, so that's the thing too. And I guess it's like a question or something that I just had right now that I'm trying to like make sense of, but it's kind of like, you know, you were on the cusp of being a pro surfer when Volcom started, and, you know, you made a choice and you went that route, and how many incredible like careers you built for these other people. And what it brings me to is like, you know, all the film, and you're talking about editing and all this like absolute passion that you're putting in, and it isn't for you. I mean, it is, you know, you're doing it for your, you know, the sake of the work, but also it's like what you're creating for somebody is giving this, you know, leading into this dream and building this dream for other people. And, you know, you can walk that all the way through your whole working career there of like what you've done, you know, with the Bruce movie and everything. And then to see that come through the feed, you know, after all those years, and I see that you're still just like, the passion is still so real for what you do. It's not what you did, it's what you do and who you are. And to see that come and to really, you know, wrap that gift up that you were given and being in the right spot and everything aligning, that's what it's about. I think that, you know, a lot of these people, like, we all live and work or breathe and, you know, enjoy these things. And yes, they're jobs, or yes, they're passions or their hobbies, but at the same time, it's just such a life. And, you know, when you were truly dedicated to something that you love, it will find you and give you, you know, those gifts. So It's incredible. I love that story.
Thank you, man. Yeah. It's fun to share, even though I've shared it a few times, but it always comes out different.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I'm curious about, you know, these are bombs. You like to surf savage waves that could frickin' do some damage, right? A lot of water coming at you, like big waves. Like, why?
I guess I'm kind of an adrenaline junkie for sure. But yeah, I don't ride the like really tall, deep water waves. I mean, I was playing around with that a little bit, but I like more of the slabby reef hollow waves. But they're tall, but they're more like thick and round. Like, I like to get barreled, basically. But why? Yeah.
I like to get
Tabarua, you know.
I like to get absolutely fucking shacked, but yeah.
Yeah. Why? Yeah. I just, again, the feeling. It's like, I love the feeling of getting barreled. It's like, I feel like I'm just I'm in the womb of nature. You know, it's just, I'm as close to God as I feel I could ever be in this earth suit in the barrel, and then coming out of the barrel, it's like you're being birthed into the world. It's like you're being spit out of the womb, essentially. And that's that feeling that you have coming out of a barrel like that. Like Billabong said it best, only a surfer knows the feeling. Well, only a surfer knows the feeling of a barrel. But ultimately, when you come out of that barrel, or I should rephrase that, it's like basically only those that are barreled knows the feeling, right? Like truly barreled. So, but when you come out of the barrel, like for me anyways, it's just like, it's like, give me more. It's the fix, you know? So, and at the same time, it's like, you got to appreciate the ones that you do get too. And for me, it's like every time I get in a barrel or just even do a fun turn or whatever, it's like, I just appreciate being in the ocean so much. Like I do not take being in the ocean for granted. No fucking way. You know, do I have sometimes some like sessions where I'm a little bit grumpy and I might get frustrated? For sure. It's only because I freaking want to like surf, you know? And so, and then that's fun too, to check the ego there, you know, just be like, all right, like, why are you doing this in the first place? It's to have fun. Okay, well, that wasn't fun. Like next time I go out, I'm going to like focus on my fun, you know, or just being present and watching my emotions and watching my ego for sure. Tons of ego checks in surfing for me, especially in bigger waves too. And with crowds and stuff, it's like playing chess, which is fun too. So it's just like, just go play a game of chess and have fun and see if you get a wave. Yeah.
That actually reminds me of like an Instagram caption that you dropped in on somebody, or there was something that happened and then you went out of your way to apologize to the surfer. If I remember it correctly, this is a while ago now.
Yeah, I did. It's happened a couple times. I did. I fully dropped in on this guy, and there's video, and then I posted. I'm like, does anyone know who this is? If you do, DM me. I owe you apologies. So I'm just trying to do my best with all that stuff. Am I perfect? Fuck no. Am I messy? Fuck yes. I'm human. It's like we all got our shit. It's like I'm not showing up here thinking I'm any better than anybody in this room or in general. It's just like I'm just trying to do my best living my life and try to be a representation of the truth as best I can and be a good example for my kids. Like to me, that's huge, you know, even though they're teenagers and doing all their things that they do, and, you know, they're busy with their lives, and which is exactly where I was when I was a teenager, and I wasn't super focused on my parents, that's for sure. But ultimately it's like I live my life to hopefully reflect truth, love, and goodness back to them. And maybe someday they'll recognize that and notice it. I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell.
You're doing a great job, Troy. You're doing
brother.
a great job. You kept, you know, this concept of, you know, the wave being a gift is something that comes up with us a lot where, you know, maybe myself or anybody else you're talking to is going through a hard time, and you always seem to flip it back on us. Even when it's a seemingly very shitty situation, you always ask, what's the gift? Why do you ask that?
Because there's always a gift in it. You might not be able to see it in that moment, but I mean, how many times have you gone through something challenging and being like, that was the best thing that ever happened to me? That was such a blessing, right? It's like hindsight's 20/20. And I feel like if you can, it's almost could be useful to you for you when you're having a challenge, is to like go back in time and recognize some of the quote unquote challenges that showed up in your life and notice that like actually they were gifts for you. And I mean, this has been said a lot lately. I hear it a lot, is it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. And it's like, there's so much truth in that. But, you know, people choose to be a victim also. And then it becomes this, it's happening to me. And then that's hard to like see it's happening for me when you're a victim. But that's again, a choice. And you got to really want to know the truth. And the truth is going to be like, fuck.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Totally unrelated. Let's talk about the Ram Dass quote that you brought up this morning.
Yeah, that's a powerful quote. He says, the only thing I can do for you is work on myself. The only thing you can do for me is work on yourself.
What does that mean to you?
It means that if I show up if I do the work to become the best version of myself, it's only going to reflect into my relationship with that other person or event or circumstance. And it's never about the other person, even though we think it might be. It's always about you. It's always about us. And I think once you can actually like understand that and realize that, everything in your life will get better. There's no way it can't, because you're taking responsibility for yourself. You're not blaming. You're not a victim anymore. It's like you're free. And a lot of people don't look at that in that way, or understand that that's what's actually like that's the truth. That's what's going on.
Some of the realest shit that's ever been said into that microphone right there, Troy. Holy shit. I think we got some more guest questions. All right, let's keep it going here. We want to go Runky or Wooly? Let's go Runky. All right, Ryan Runk. Here we go.
Troy, my brother, my shaman, Runk's here. I'm sure you're going to get a ton of deep questions, and there's so many things I could dive in and ask, but I'm going to try to keep it fun and light. What does PDSG mean to you? Can you try to explain maybe what it is and how you had your part in creating this mythical and magical thing come to life? Really curious to hear this episode, and as always, thanks for everything. Love you, brother.
I love hearing Runky's voice. You never know what's going to come out of that mouth. Love you, Runky. You're the man, dude. Such a big heart. Wow. Love that guy. Oh, PDSG. So pretty sure Runky came up with the actual the acronym and the words, which PDSG stands for Party Dude Support Group. That sounds like a Runky thing, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, he developed it, and so it became this like this. It's all the friends that are doing the work essentially, and it's like him, Tyler Berryman, Justin Glickman, I believe Oren Tanzer's in there. Are you in there as well? Yep. Chris is in there as well. So is that it? Is that kind of like the thread?
I think so. They're probably forgetting somebody, but it's okay.
Yeah, so that's sort of the group. And so yeah, Ryan.
Shearer?
Maybe, yeah, Shearer too.
Yep.
Yeah, Steve Shearer.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. And so yeah, Runky came up with that, and then it became this thread that just the boys were just like there for each other. And it's been years. This has been like probably fucking 4 years maybe. It's incredible. And so yeah, love the name Party Dude Support Group. And so these guys have gotten tattoos of PDSG. Yeah. Berryman has it. Runky has it. And I don't know if anybody else has so far, but those two have the PDSG. And then recently Runky asked me, he's like, hey, I think I want to like start a little like group, like a actual group, like PDSG, like Zoom or something. And I'm like, really? Well, that's fucking awesome, man. And he's like, but I need to know how do you do it? And I'm just like, well, put me on the first one and I'll help you guys start it. And so that's exactly what happened. And everybody got on a Zoom call, and I got to tune in with them and drop them into a meditation and get everyone grounded. And then just kind of just shared my thoughts on running a men's group. And they're off and running. They've been going for I don't even know, probably like 4 or 5 months now. So it's all pretty new, but it sounds like it's just been like really powerful and life-changing for the guys that have been involved. And I heard there's a couple more guys that have come on. So yeah, it's freaking epic. And it's so important, this work. And I mean, if you were to like zoom back and think about like the characters that are in this group, it's like, really, these guys are like doing the work and like being held accountable and holding each other accountable and being there to support through the thick and thin and like committing to it. It's so incredible. I mean, this is the ripple effect with something like this is more than they could ever dream of. So kudos to those guys. Kudos to Runky for starting it. And I'm just like grateful to be like in the background, like cheerleading those guys on. It's epic.
Yeah, absolutely. Love that, man. We're going to keep it on. We're just keeping things rolling, no particular order. But themes that I think would be interesting for listeners too, that comes to mind, that inspires me personally is intention and how you live with so much intention. Like everything you do is surrounded by intention. And you're always bringing awareness to me around intention. And you've managed to build a very intentional life. Like your life on paper is it's a dream life, I think, right? In the sense that the way you've structured your time, where you surf and you meditate and you do yoga in the morning, and then maybe 11 to 5 you do some coaching, but like that, you don't really let things that don't serve you into your life. What's your philosophy on why you built just such an intentional life?
It's a deep one. I mean, it was almost by a bit of necessity in a way, also, of just like noticing that like what was working for me just wasn't, or what was happening in that with my life wasn't really working. So I needed to change and kind of put myself first. And that's what I was talking about with like what's important list. And I was like, over the years, I've always put others first. So it was like, okay, what would it look like to actually put myself first? Like, how would I design my day actually with my work and then my kids and everything that's going on around me to the best of my ability? And it took me a while to really like get to a sweet spot where I'm like, oh, okay, this is killer. Like this works really well. I feel good with this regimen. I love working. I love what I'm doing. And I also just look at my mornings and how I set myself up to show up to clients is like very important. And so, yeah, I'm just, like you said, just intentional about all the things that I'm doing. And I'm trying to just do my best to like be intentional about what I put into my body from like the physical standpoint of like food and things like that. I do my best. And then also just what I put into my mind when it comes to like social media and the content and just everything that's going on in this world and even news. It's like I choose not to, I want to be aware of what's going on, but it's like ultimately, is it helping me serve the greater good in this life and what I've chosen to do? Most of the times when I do those sorts of things or like find myself in the rabbit hole, it's like, it doesn't help me. It doesn't help me help others, essentially. It doesn't help me help myself either. So I feel like being really intentional, and for me, what's behind intention is awareness. It's like you have to have awareness to be intentional. So first and foremost, it's like, can you pull yourself back enough to be aware, like you're watching a friend move through the day? It's like you're watching another person do something, and you'll notice, oh, they, did this thing, and you could tell that that's not going to be good for them, or they're like, wow, they're in social media, they're on Instagram. They've been on Instagram for an hour right now. Like, how's that? Like, right? So it's like you can kind of like take inventory and be aware of how you roll through the day and ask yourself at the end of the day, was that the best use of my time? Is this making me a better person from like what I've just witnessed? And then you'll probably be able to get pretty clear very quickly of like the things that you feel like you could change, and again, it goes back to choices. Okay, now it's to choices. Okay, what are the choices that I need to make now in my life to like better myself or show up better for my family or put myself first or, not grind as much, thinking I need to grind to be successfess or financially and hustle and all that sort of stuff. I mean, for me, I'm in the opposite realm. I'm like, the less I do, the more I become. And then the more I become, the more just better things happen in my life, whether it's financial or just situational or whatever it is. So it's kind of like it's really a less is more, or it's about quality and intention and awareness, I guess, is what's coming up for me right now.
Beautiful tangent.
Goddamn tangent.
What's the most rewarding thing about coaching?
Oh, watching people grow into themselves and just wake up to themselves, for sure. And just realize how freaking amazing they are and how powerful they are and and then I can watch the tangible things happen. Like, you work on yourself, guess what? Your business is going to do better. You work on yourself, guess what? Your relationship is going to get better. You work on yourself, guess what? Your friendships are going to get better. Yes, some friends may fall away, but the person you're becoming, you're gonna match up with the right people that are meant to serve you to who you are now, to help you even get to another level. And yeah, so that's that.
Beautiful. Do you find the work you're doing now more rewarding than the stuff you're doing, or are you really happy with where you're at now with all that stuff?
Like in regards to
coaching
Volcom?
versus Volcom, yeah.
Yeah, it's different. It's just so different. Like I loved. There was aspects of Volcom I really loved. You know, I loved traveling. I loved going. I mean, we'd go to Tavarua every year, sometimes twice a year for like 15 years, and I wouldn't trade those experiences for anything. And even like the movie making stuff with the Bully, that was huge. Loved all that stuff. And then the athletes and then the experiences from the marketing teams and developing all those teams and having all these incredible humans around me. And I mean, we were such a family. It was just crazy. And so it's just different, you know. I'm just kind of, you know, I'm not in a corporation or like going day to day and kind of being in that environment. So now it's just, it feels very different. I can't really say I like one more than the other, to be honest, because they both provided so much value in my life. Like I wouldn't be where I am without Volcom and all that chaos and all the freaking parties and everything that was going down. So it's all serving the perfect purpose.
Great fucking answer, Troy. Another great fucking answer. God damn it, you're doing good. Okay, we're going to move into hot takes. What do you guys think about that? Okay, should we do surf or snow, or generally this is kind of snowboard related. Seth, what should we do here?
Let's go surf.
Let's surf.
Mix it up.
Yeah.
Or all. No boundaries.
I don't even know what hot takes is, so I'm just following your lead.
It's perfect. So we'll keep it vague. You answer this however it hits you. Who is, in your opinion, to you, your GOAT? Both male and female.
I need to get back to you on that, dude, to be honest.
Okay, what about snow? This is a snowboard show. Is there a snowboard GOAT that pops up for you?
I mean, wow. That's a toss-up between two humans, and it's Terry and Jamie.
Okay, you got to pick one.
Okay. Shit. That's a fucking tough one.
God, it feels good to freaking.
I mean, isn't that tough?
Rake him over the coals with this. I'm loving this.
Isn't
right now,
it fucking tough? That's so tough. Oh God, I love both of these humans so much. I'm gonna lean towards Jamie Land.
Okay, final answer, Jamie Land.
Mm-hmm.
Nice work.
Totally worthy.
Would you consider snowboarding an art form? Actually, surf. Fuck, I'm butchering this right now. Whatever, it's all good. Would you consider surfing an art form, a sport, or a lifestyle?
All the above.
Perfect. Who's one of the most underrated surfers in your opinion?
So yeah, there's a guy named Torrin Martin who is when you guys might think about surfing, and I'm projecting this, you might be thinking about like performance surfing, but this guy's more of a he's like dancing on the water. He rides untraditional boards. They're kind of bigger boards, but just when you watch him surf, it's just like absolute poetry in motion. So I would say right now he's that for me. He's an Aussie.
Okay, in regards to waves, rights or lefts?
I'll go left.
Are you regular?
I'm regular.
Yeah.
Who's got your favorite style ever? Your favorite?
My favorite style of surfing? I mean, I grew up with Tom Curran. He's an old dog, which is freaking, he was one of the reasons why I started surfing. So I guess I could just say Tom Curran.
Best turn on a surfboard?
Best turn? Just like a big back, when I think of a turn, okay, I think of an Aki turn, like a backside, like mid face bottom, like a mid bottom turn. Does that make sense? And then just like almost like an off the top down carve with speed leading you into the next turn. That's Aki.
That's way above my pay grade. I'm honest. I don't follow, but I love it.
All I know is wrap the cutty.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that means.
Yeah, that might just went way over everybody, all the snowboarders' heads. That's for sure. Yeah. You can ask me snowboard questions if you want. I don't know.
Okay, who's got your favorite method?
Oh, Jamie Land.
Okay, what's your favorite snowboard video ever made?
Oh,
Say the guard. Say the guard.
I can't say it. Oh gosh. I mean, I'm not even that tuned into what's going on these days. Yeah. Okay, I'll say the garden.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, here's a good one. What's your favorite snowboard graphic ever? Anything come to mind that you can think of that pops out of you?
Yeah, the Terrier. Is it like the Norwegian sword?
Yep.
Yeah, the wooden right?
Yep.
Yeah, that one for me.
It's his
Timeless.
first pro model.
Yeah.
Okay. Dream sponsor. Anything in the world, doesn't have to be surf, snowboard, skate related. Like just unlimited consciousness. What's your dream sponsor?
Oh, so it's like a thing, like a.
I mean, I'll give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
Mine's Home Depot. Go in there, get whatever you want off the shelf.
That is pretty good.
You can you get 2x4s, you get plywood, you go freak walk over, get a drill. You know what I mean? And then you walk to the other aisle, you got some plants.
Yeah.
What do you need? Pea gravel. I got you. Anyway, continue.
Probably one of the most like organic. What's the word I'm looking for? Farmers markets.
A farmer's market sponsor.
Yeah.
Like you could just go take whatever from any one of the booths.
Best food. There's like the best meats. There's just like the best quality, everything. Yeah. Like a lifetime supply of that would be fucking amazing.
Let's have Runke get you a deal with the local. What do you guys got in San Diego's? Got to have a good.
There's a lot
market.
of farmers markets in San Diego.
Yeah, we'll get you dialed in there.
Sweet.
All right, you go heliboarding 3 people. You're just riding POW. Bagging turns. We're not making the surfing. We're talking about you back on the board.
Okay.
Riding POW. Who's going in that heli with you?
You said 3 people?
Yeah, 3 seats. There's 3 open seats.
3 open seats besides me.
Yeah.
Plus you.
4
okay,
total.
plus 4 total. Okay. I mean, I'll go Jamie and Terrier again, just because they're fucking awesome. And then who would get the 3rd seat? They have to be a snowboarder?
No.
Oh, it can be whoever.
You could be, dude, somebody brought Mike Tyson. Somebody brought Charlie Sheen. I mean, yeah.
Well, do they have to be alive?
No.
Okay, Ramdas.
Ramdas, Terrier, and Jamie. Yeah. Fucking hell of a chopper right there. That's one hell of a chopper. Love to see it. Last question. What is, in your opinion, the worst trend?
Violence.
Great answer. You want to elaborate?
Oh, yeah. Just the violence that's happening all the time on our planet. It's just, it's a trend. So I think that's the worst one.
Great fucking answer. Another great answer, Troy. Okay, we're going to get into a question from none other than Wooly. Here we go.
All right. Hey, Troy, what's up? Here, it's Wooly. And congrats on your bomb hole interview. And I do have a question for you. Thinking about your boat and down in Fiji, we haven't talked in a little bit, so I want to hear what's your craziest, wildest story on the boat, and also, has it been everything that you wanted it to be, and are you finding some great waves? And I just want to hear some cool stories about the boat. Right on, buddy. I hope you're good.
That's such a woolly question. I love that. What do you say? The crazy story or something? Mm-hmm. Oh, fuck. Probably when I got to Fiji the last time, the boat had been sitting in the marina for a little bit, and I had people looking after it, quote unquote. Apparently they weren't looking after it enough, and it was in the rainy season, so it was pissing rain for like days or like maybe even longer. I don't even know. And I have like windows on the front of it. It's a catamaran. It's like a older catamaran, and the windows failed, so water just like came into the boat gnarly. And when I got there, we're getting there to go and get it prepped to go surfing, and it was just destroyed. Like the interior was just like completely molded, just fucked. And I just was like, wow, all right, this is what it's like to be a bone owner, huh? Okay, cool. That was intense. And so luckily the guys I was with, we just freaking put our gloves on, bleach and the whole deal, and just cleaned it up and just got it right back to par and freaking got on the road. But it was gnarly at the time. I was tripping. Yeah. So that'd be one. There's others, but that was the one that was the most kind of like, what the fuck? And then what was his other question?
Has it been everything that you've hoped it to be?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I spent about a month on it in Fiji this year with, I had like 3 groups of friends that came in, and it was incredible. We had such a fucking good time. And the waves were insane. Surfed really good cloud break, and we can anchor just like right inside cloud break, which is like incredible. It's just like,
so you're coming in off the water and you're paddling into the waves from the boat?
Well, it's kind of like behind the reef. It's like the wave breaks, then there's the reef, and then it's like back kind of behind the reef. Mm-hmm. And there's like an anchorage. You can fit a lot of boats back there, but there's typically 4 to 5 at a time when the waves are good, maybe more. And then we take the dinghy out. So basically we just dinghy about 5 minutes out, and then we hook up or anchor, hook up to other boats or anchor, and then we just paddle out. And it's freaking dreamy. So yeah, it's been incredible, and it's a challenge, man. It's like anybody who owns a boat, and especially I'm here a lot, and it's in Fiji, so there are challenges with managing a boat from far away. So it's just way better to be on it. Once you're on it, it's just like you're good. And lots of learning, lots of fixing, lots of just like unknowns. It's a true adventure. So I got my adventure.
This is a stupid question. Where's Fiji? I'm sorry.
Fiji
I don't know the answer to that.
It's right in between. So Australia, New Zealand, Fiji's like right at the top, like in the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
So you go there for their summer or their winter?
Their winter.
Their winters when the waves are good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That hits in our summer, right?
So it's our summer.
It is Southern Hemisphere.
It's right now. Yeah. It's all right now. Mm-hmm.
Wow, Troy. It's been a good show. You enjoy yourself, Troy?
Fully
enjoyed it?
So much fun.
Did you have fun?
Thank you.
Absolutely. It was a good show.
Seth?
100%.
What's your favorite part of the show, Silk?
There was some pretty good stuff with coaching, but might be talking about the garden. I don't know. It's a toss-up.
Seth actually wants to talk about the garden for
Seth, you want to tee
another
up
48 hours.
Yeah, I could keep going. Well, I mean, we got to have him again because we didn't even tap Subject Hawkinson.
Yeah.
But that was more Wooly. That was more Wooly and Sione.
Yeah.
That was definitely more them.
True.
But the garden, we can talk about the garden.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about the Bruce movie.
Yeah, the Bruce movie.
We didn't talk about To Be Continued, Ryan Villapoto movie.
Mm-hmm.
One interesting thing you'll notice, which I was picking his brain on, which we'll do again right now. A lot of the interviews are filmed in motion. Like all of the main characters, or I guess in To Be Continued and the Bruce movie, when you're interviewing Bruce and Villapoto, they're like always in motion.
Mm-hmm.
Was that intentional?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, Bruce on the boat.
Bruce on the boat,
his truck
and then he's
and
walking, and then he's in his truck. So yeah, it was intentional.
And I loved football, schmootball. I was so, the whole wolf pack and the whole North Shore. I think there was some documentary or something on Fuel, one of the channels at that point. And I was like so just intrigued by that whole North Shore, how the whole thing worked out, and I actually got to go to the Pipe House. Remember, were you there when we did Fuel Week? I think you were there.
I'm not sure.
Maybe that was right at the end. We did Fuel Week, and I don't know, Billy and Ryan were like, "Oh yeah, Seth, we need you in Hawaii at the Pipe House." I was like, it was like March. It was like epic filming for snowboarding, and I was like, put me on the plane. And they got me over there for, I was the first one in, and it was like a 5-day stint. People were coming in and out, and show up, and Kevlar, remember Kevlar?
Oh yeah.
And he picks me up, and Jack Morrissey, and next thing you know, I'm in the water. I don't surf. Pipeline. Yeah. It was like
bag and peelers.
Yeah, it was shoulder high. I went right, and it's a left. I touched the reef with my feet, I was like, I like went in and I hit the reef, and I was like, I just touched the reef at Pipeline. Then we had dinner that night at Kyborg's house.
Yeah.
And it was just like this. It was just the most crazy experience of my life, of that time, not of my life, but it was just one of those insane experiences. And I don't know. And then, that was the whole time when Bruce movie, football, schmootball, and, just catching that whole vibe. And I was just like, wow, this is real, So
it was a wild time.
Yeah.
Big time.
And I always thought it was so cool too, because you had clips in all the movies. You made the movies and you were part of the movies, and you always had sick clips. It was like, whose wave is that? It was like, that's Troy. And you're just like, damn. And I think that added to the legitimacy of you and Wooly and Tucker and everybody at the ground, Imagar, everybody, Remy, shredders. Full brand of absolute shredders. They knew, hearing you talk about, the intention of you got to make time for you and your surfing, and you've never let go of that. And it's so amazing because, it shows, if you truly love something, it's going to show. And I don't know, seeing that through Volcom, and I've drawn so much inspiration because it's been such a huge part of my life. And just being here, I know I said I was honored at the beginning of the podcast, and now I'm like, you can times that by 1,000. So just being a part of this is huge. So amazing, Troy.
Seth. Hell
so
yeah.
sick.
Appreciate you. I remember Seth's been a part of that company for a fucking long time, man. Just snowboarding and the snowboarding parts and all the freaking clips you'd throw down was so crazy. I was just like, this guy's fucking next level.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
He's pretty good.
We're doing an employee competition, you know?
Really?
Yeah. So Seth's going to be
nervous.
up against Silk over here.
Yeah, I'm nervous.
We can't, Chris. We kind of haven't really announced it yet, but
we announced it. But if we start talking about it,
I kind of work at the bomb hole now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, official. Seth works here. Round of applause.
Yeah,
we got to do a legit press release though. Seth's my boss, guys. Seth's my boss.
No.
You need a boss, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Seth's perfect for you.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
It's a team.
That's what the boss says.
True. Yeah, everybody listen to Seth.
No.
Yeah. I'm going to just one other tangent. Sorry, but not sorry. You bagged that peeler this year, the friggin' bomb, whatever, 2 years ago.
That wasn't this year.
2 years ago. Baja. Bagged the peeler in your 50s. You're kind of an older dog. You've been around forever. You're surfing with all the young cats, all the hungry hyenas, the hungry hippos, as you call them. And how did you feel like you were received amongst the community, kind of as that older fucking general, bagging peelers for the, you know what I mean? Like, do you feel like you got a lot of love from the community when you caught that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was huge love. I was so grateful and just humbled, fully humbled. And like I said in the post, it was like, it reconnected me with a lot of people that I had not talked to in a long time in my life. And so it was just, again, the meaning was just like way deeper than just the wave itself. So, but yeah, super humbled. And it was really cool to see people's comments, and just even to this day, I'll have people talk to me about it, and I'm just like, wow, that was 2.5 years ago. People fucking remember. It's crazy. And it's crazy how quick it's gone by too already. It's just a couple of years have gone by so quickly, but yeah, it was pretty cool.
Well, maybe
that's inspirational. I mean, just having the clarity to have that moment where that's the one, and you had it in the wave, in the moment. because we all know that Alaska line is out there for us, and it'll happen. You just stay the path.
Yeah.
I love it.
Totally.
Or just that cliff at Brighton. Yeah.
Yeah. Or whatever it is.
Or a 15-foot down bar, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
The ice. It's all part of it. Well, it's been a great show, Troy. Thanks for coming and chatting with us. It's a pleasure.
So stoked to be here. And a long time coming.
It has. And for the listener, I can't express enough like how much of the North Star for me in my life you've been, and the reason I met my wife, the reason so many things have happened in my life is because of the clarity you've brought. So just thank you so much, and how much you've shaped who I am, and I just appreciate you so much, and thanks for coming and sharing your story, Troy.
You're welcome, brother.
Yeah, love you, brother.
Been
Thanks
my
for coming
honor.
on.
Love you.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think we did it, guys.
I think we did it.
Any closing words? Final thoughts?
Yeah. Do you want to take us out of the show too?
Yeah.
How do I take you out of the
Just
show?
whatever.
You know, we should probably ask him an insightful question because he'll probably have a good answer.
Yeah. What's
words
the
to live by? Words to live by.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Words to live by. Well,
Words to live by? Just, have fun. Don't take it so seriously. It's only life. It's gonna be gone before you know it.
That's it.
Yeah. Got it.
Nobody gets out alive.
No one gets out alive.
All right. Well, now we did it. The show's done. Now we need to sign off. Who's doing it?
Troy, you want to take us out of the show? Just whatever. Don't worry about it.
Just kind of like
an
thanks
end
for
cap,
listening. Appreciate the sponsors. See you next week.
Yeah.
Over and out. Something like that.
Yeah. Whatever.
All right. Thanks for watching The Bomb Hole. Tune into The Bomb Hole. Thanks to the sponsors and the Patreon members. And I hope you have the best day ever.
Woo! Yeah. Goddamn pro. This guy's built for radio.